Good morning, everybody. I know you're disappointed. I know you're disappointed. You're like, oh man, you back in normal clothes again, man. What is this BS? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it can't be Halloween every day. I'm sorry that it can't be Halloween every day, but I did have fun with the outfit yesterday. I had fun. I know you guys are looking at me like, who the hell is this guy? I get all that stuff off my face, put that itchy wig. That was a horrible wig that I had on. I put that thing away. And we are back to being back to normal, back to our regularly scheduled program, back to what we do, back to the old-fashioned sports show. I'm your host, Anwar Richardson. Good morning to everybody. It is November 1st. November 1st, baby. It all of a sudden it's cold, it's chilly outside. What's the temperature outside? Let me see this. I thought it was in the 30s this morning. Right now it says 40 degrees over here, but I felt like when I woke up it was in the 30s. I mean, right now it's nice and chilly. Did your kids go out? Did you do a little trick or treating last night? I told you I was trying to decide what I was going to do. And I was like, am I going to go out, get some candy, and get the bottle of tequila and do shots for the adults, or was I just going to shut it down? And I thought about it. It was a game time decision, and I shut it down. I turned off the lights. Hid in my bedroom, so no one would see any lights on. And that because the bedroom's in the back, so you can't see any lights from the street. And I got through it. I have not gone out to check my house to see if there's toilet paper or eggs or anything to that effect. So there may be more things to come. There may be more damage and kind of some repercussions for my decision. But nonetheless, I did it anyway. To heck with them kids. Got enough candy as it is. So congratulations, man. We have made it to November. We are almost here in December. So we are right here, guys, in holiday season. We're right now in the thick of things as relates to Texas football season and your Longhorns. And even if you got other teams that you're into, I know we got OU fans that listen to the show as well. I'm in the thick of the season for them as well. Thick of the season for A&M. We got Texas and of course K-State this week. There's a lot to discuss. So as we start getting into this thing, let me do a couple of things. Please hit the like button if you have not done so far. Just go ahead and hit the like it. Go and subscribe to the channel if you're just wondering, like, man, I just kind of stumbled across this thing. What the hell is going on here? Who's this peanut head guy out here talking to me right now? That's all right. It'll be okay. I got 3 hours of stuff to kind of discuss with you. My name is Anwar Richardson. I'm the host of the show. I also am a reporter / columnist over at orangebloods.com. So kind of a little bit of everything as we kind of get into it. Aaron Little produces behind the scenes, and you can check him every morning on Horns Up, starting at 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. Kind of get your day started. As soon as you wake up, the alarm clock goes off, and you're like, man, I don't, forget all them. You don't need to listen to all the other national stuff. You want to hear what kind of relates to you, what resonates with you. And so you get your Horns Up, start at 6:30, take a quick little break. Then I'm back from 8 to 11, solo dolo. And then at 12 o'clock, you get House Divided. And of course, in the afternoon, you will get my main man with his show. I like my main man. I forgot his name. Oh my God, Alex, my main man, my best friend, football with friends, Alex Dunlap. Oh my God, you guys have just seen me age before your eyes. Like right there, it happened. Right there, at that moment, you realize, oh snap, I'm starting to get old. Right? I can't remember his name. I was drawing a blank. I was like, what is this dude's name? He will be on my show, by the way. My best friend, my best friend Alex will be on the show at 9:30 today, where we talk about the Texas Longhorns. And at 10:30 or 10:20. Can we just start the show over again? 10:20. Ari Temkin from Big 12 Radio is going to be on the show. Ari's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the show. And so he will be on here at 10:20 to kind of talk about Texas and K-State. And so we got Ari to look forward to. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Let me go ahead and let me acknowledge everybody in the chat. I want to tell you guys a little about some stuff that I'm going to be doing here in the month of November. I got a lot of things that I want to acknowledge and get started. So let's go ahead and start off by first giving a salute to Buck Wild Longhorn. Salute, Buck Wild. The best trucker in the world got his number one. So good morning to you, Buck Wild. Sandman 23. Exit light into light. No, exit light in the night. Dang it. I guess I'll just never be a Metallica guy. All right, well, I've been exposed. Dale Coleman, it's go time. Good morning to you. Caesar, good morning to you. Good morning, my beautiful people out there. G, what's up? What's up, G? What up, G? That's all you get, G. That's all you get. Save your nickname for somebody else. What up, G? Mr. Hookem is back. Good morning to you. Soto 806 out there in Lubbock doing the damn thing. Good morning to you. Russ is out here. A DWD. Morning horns and haters. Let's have a good day. Hey, you know what Cat Williams says? You know, you got to have haters in your life. If you don't have haters in your life, you're not doing it right. That means you're not doing enough in life for people to hate on you. They don't hate on things that people don't hate on things that people don't have something. They hate on you because they got something. Because you got something. And so you welcome the haters. That's why I welcome my haters. People from OU come in, ain't none come in. I'm okay with the haters. I'm all good. Because they're here because we got something. We got something good. We got something special. They want to be a part of it. I take all the support, but I take the hate as well. Chris Nelson, good morning to you. Yo, what's going on? Dale Coleman is in the house. He says, sending a big shout out to our nephew for safe travels today. And good luck with the soccer trainer. Let's get it. Yes. Oh my gosh. That's right. Talk about that. But yes, Dale Coleman, you are correct. My son, Maximus, leaves today for Paris, as he gets to train for about a week with PSG, the soccer program that's out there that I'm talking about from the Premier League. I won't bore you guys with the whole thing because I know you guys aren't soccer fans, but Messi used to play for this organization, right? It's PSG. I think it's PSG. I don't know if they're Premier League or Champions League. I don't know. I don't know. All I know was he went to a camp in San Antonio during the summer, and he got invited to go out there and train. I did a lot of research because I'm like, man, they invite everybody. Like, this is some sort of bootleg, like the hit them up kind of style. Like, they just this is some like okie doke that thing's about to go on. And come to find out, like, no, it's actually like some legit like stuff. Like, he gets to really legitly go out there for a week and train. And this is crazy because he played basketball for years and he decided that he wanted to transition, do some soccer stuff. I was like, all right, you love soccer. I ain't know that he loves soccer like that, And so when your kid starts, driving that bus, like as a parent, you just got to get into the passenger seat. Like, this is what you want to do. Like, hey, whatever you want. I told him, like, whatever you want, son, I support you. It is what it is. If you want to be chess, man, we're going to play chess. That'll be sitting there screaming about whatever overtakes whatever, Bishop take over, whatever. I don't know chess. I barely know soccer. But yes, he's going out there, got invited. And so there's a lot of cool things. So I'll show you hopefully some pictures if his mom sends them to me. I'll show it to her. I'm not going on the trip because they only let the parents watch it on like one day, like it's a Friday. Parents get to watch, and then outside of that, that means me and my ex are spending a week in Paris. And I'm just not down for that. Like, we get on that. We get on that. We good on the most romantic place on earth. Like, we all right on that. You could go ahead. Y'all have a good old time over there. So yes, my son leaves for Paris. I think it starts next week. In fact, I have an itinerary. Maybe at some point I'll show you guys. But enough of that. Thank you, Dale. I appreciate you for the shout out. Keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. Lewis Gaines, good morning from Seatown. Big Tex, my dude is out here. Good morning to you. Just a dude is here. Tom G. Good morning to you, good my man, my friend. How are you? Nick is doing good. Just another fragrance from viewer is in here. Good morning to you. A little dab will do you. I got you coming up, little dab will do you. Don't go anywhere. Chris Bennett, the original OG of Superfans, is in here. Zio_V gives up the #1 spot. Oh, man. SEC Hookem is here. Mike Harges, my dude, my fam, is in the house. And we got Barb's 10. Happy midweek to you. This trade is moving to game day. You damn right. It's almost Saturday. Blake May is in here. Ben G is in here. Naaman is in here. Can you tell me this morning and tell me why on 3rd and 8 our corners are 10 yards off the ball and I can't even see our safeties on my 60-inch television screen? Sound like you got to get a 75-incher. Black Friday will be around the corner, Naaman, because Sark ain't changing a damn thing for your damn TV. What up, Kiki? What's up, Luke 2222? I don't think I already named Naaman. Longest Horn is in here. The Junior Dogs is in here. I know I butchered that last time, but I'm a little bit better today. Gabe Lock Tex is in here. Javier Rubio, my dude, is in here. He loves the hat, I know. Doug is in here. Blake is in here as well. Money B is in here. Oh, let's go Rangers, boy. I turned on that game last night. Woo! I was like, oh, snap. It was like 10-0. I was like, oh, Lord, what's going on? I said, well, I guess I'll just turn this thing off. No need for me to act like I like baseball now. Because I was like, oh, let me go check this out. You know, I was like, Aaron's a huge fan. Everybody in chat always talks about the Rangers. I said, let me go ahead and just turn this thing on and see what's going on. You know, I don't know what inning. It was like the 4th inning, Aaron. Was it the 4th inning when it was 10-0? Third, was it 4th? Yeah, third. I turned on the 3rd. I was like, golly, how they score so many points? How you score so many points in the World Series, right? Like, that's not where that's supposed to happen. That's like getting blown out in the Super Bowl. You can't do that. So I was like, oh, snap. I was like, Aaron probably's not going to be in a good mood. I felt for you, though, Maya. DWD is in here. A little dab will do you. You said 50 sucks. Are you talking about 50 Cent sucks? Or was it something else that I mixed in there? Alice does come on. My main friend, my good friend, Alex Dunlap. I remember his name. He'll be here at 9:30 today. Who the hell knows what he's going to say? Scott in Texas. So sports journalist, formerly known as Prince. Did you end up giving away any shots? No, man, I shut it down. I didn't feel like doing it. It's too cold. It's too cold. I wasn't going to sit out there. I just wasn't in the mood. And I wasn't going to put a bowl out there for someone to steal. Because one of my neighbors had told me, like, they put a bowl out there before. And not only did the kids, like, take the candy, they actually took the bowl, like the literal bowl with them. So I was like, you know what? Forget them kids, man. So I decided like to heck with them. They'll be all right. Thank you, Javier. I totally messed up his name. I want to make sure I get to that. Nate, live from the DFW. Good morning to you. Noble Powell is talking about that's one of them camps. Yeah, it's a camp. Like it's like a camp. I don't know, but I don't know what that really means when it's all said and done. Like I checked to see, make sure, by the way, it wasn't like every kid got invited. So it was on a select few. And the crazy thing is they have some training stuff that you can do like stateside. Like they have like academies that he could have gone to stateside. So I'm not quite sure why they wanted him to go to Paris. I just take it as a good time, a good sign, and like, hey man, go have a good time. Hey, you get to go to Paris on August 9. So, you know, like Super Chats help, by the way. Super Chats help pay for that thing. And good morning to Sam Shepard. And we're going to get to the Clouds playoff rankings as well. Oh, so real quick, I asked yesterday for anybody who was wearing a costume to go ahead and submit it. And Ringo Horn submitted his photo for the Halloween costume that he wore yesterday. And I need Ringo to explain this to me. I'm trying to understand what this costume is. All right, so there's a lot of stuff. Is this an ICU costume? Like, have any of y'all been to ICU? Is this what this is? It's not a CPAP, right? It's not CPAP, right? Because so it can't because there's no breathing apparatus around him. I feel like Ringo, he needed to do more with the outfit. Like if Ringo needed to put like blood on his face or put a shirt on that kind of gave us an indication of what this was. Like I like it, but I don't know if he's just got some extra stuff in the closet that he had from like an emergency surgery at some point. Oh, it's an EKG machine. Okay, so it's an EKG. Okay, thank you. So it's an EKG. Javier said that's a CPAP that I've been doing it totally wrong. It's not a CPAP. I was supposed to use a CPAP. I tried it one time. I tried it for a couple of nights. I couldn't sleep. I was like, this is worse than me waking up in the middle of the night. I'm like, at this point, I'm sleeping less. Just let me die. So I didn't do it. So it's an EKG machine. But then what does this mean? He's a hospital patient? Like I need Ringo to tell me what this means. Does it means like he's a hospital patient, but he doesn't have a hospital gown on. He just has his shirt on. I feel like Ringo, we're there. Like I feel like we are close. We're close, Ringo. I just don't know if we hit it. Like I feel like we did, the gymnastic things. And then we like did the flip in the air, but I'm not quite sure we stuck the landing, Ringo. And I feel like we were close to sticking the landing, but we weren't quite there. And then here's the last thing. So a little dab will do you. Kind of threw this at me yesterday, and the little dab will do you. Threw out a challenge to me, and they said he asked me to grow my mustache out for in November, and if I grow my mustache out, he said he would donate $500 to the charity of my choice. And I think if you remember at the time, I said, well, okay, that sounds good. And I said, and I told you, I said, if it was going to be a charity of my choice, like it'd probably be something for like suicide prevention, because like back in the day, I've dealt with a lot of things, depression issues and stuff like that. So that speaks to me more so than anything else. So like then he emails me and gives me more of what it was about, and it's actually about Movember, which Movember, as you may or may not know, and I'll be honest with you, I can't claim because I've heard it, but I can't claim that I ever got that deep into it because it seems like there's always something every single month, every single week that's going on. But Movember is actually known as Men Health Awareness Month. I got this from a website. And it's the annual global campaign that encourages men to grow mustaches and participate in various activities to raise awareness about men's health issues. So this month-long event focuses on promoting physical and mental well-being among men, addressing issues such as prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health challenges, and suicide prevention. It was just a hell of a correlation that I didn't even know once he put that thing out there. And that's what Movember is about. It starts today on November 1st and continues into November 30th. So yes, because a little dab will do you, I will let you know that I will grow out the mustache. And $500, if you donate the $500, I will find a good suicide prevention a place here, maybe in the Austin area. I'm going to do some research on that, but because of the men's health, I will definitely do that. And listen, if you guys, I'll just be honest with you, I definitely want to celebrate. I know we have a lot of men that watch the show. We have a lot of women that watch it, but we also have a lot of men that watch the show as well. And fellas, we don't talk about things a lot. We just kind of oh, what's up, whatever. So if there's some realness on here, and you guys have some stuff like hey that I can share with the audience, whether you work for an organization, or you have some, or some people that work for organizations that kind of help and can talk about the importance of certain things, like let me know. Hit me up at Anwar. It's just my first name at orangebloods.com. And let's go ahead and get this thing out there. I'm 100% on board. I'm 100% on board with that. So a little dab will do you. Thank you to that. Thank you for putting the challenge out there. I will meet the challenge and I will do everything I can to promote Men's Health Awareness Month in the month of November. So thank you. I'm looking forward to growing out that thing. Well, we're going to see. I have not tried to grow out a mustache in years. So I have no clue what this will or will not look like. I don't think it's going to be luxurious. I think I'm going to do my best. It's probably going to look like Richard Pryor when it's all said and done, but I will definitely do my best, and I'll actually do my part as well. So thank you, Lil Dab. Will do you. Last thing I want to say is that the first portion of the show is brought to you by our main man, Eric Sells Homes DFW. If you're looking for a home in the DFW area, you have to look no further than El Presidente Eric Sells Homes DFW. You're looking to buy a home, you're looking to sell a home, anything that you're looking as relates to home, he's got you covered, man. So it's November. Go buy yourself a house. It's November. Start doing the scouting mission for a house. Like, you thinking about selling. Maybe you think about selling next year. Like, it's okay. You start doing, you don't wait until February or March. You're like, hey man, let me know. Like, let me know when's a good time to get on the market. Let's go ahead and strategize. Get the comps, right? Get all the comps that are out there. And find out all the information that you can. I'm very meticulous. A big purchase, but go ahead and do that thing. For those who say something like, man, I'm renting, man. I'm not worried. Why should I do is interest rates or this and that, man? First, you're throwing the money away. And so you can go ahead and invest in something that's going to bring something towards you, or sell it and get into something else. Kids are going to be out of school next year. They're graduating. Man, you want to downsize. You don't need that house. Eric Sells Homes has got you covered. He also is a Longhorn fan, but he's got OU fans in his family. He's got TCU fans in his family. He's got Baylor connections. So he's everybody. He's a man of the people. Good dude. Eric Sells Homes, DFW. I don't read off a script. I've never read off a script as relates to Eric Sells Home, DFW. I don't read off a script, period. I'll just be honest with you. I just say what comes to my mind. Sometimes they give me scripts. I'm just going to speak from the heart. Eric Sells Homes DFW, good guy. Hit him up. Also, Tom G goes ahead and says in his super chat, oh man, he says, I will match up to 500 of whatever the rest of the OB fam here donates to it also. Oh man, thanks, Tom. Man, that really speaks to me, man. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. It means a lot. It really means a lot, man. Man, I appreciate it. I just appreciate it, man. Thank you. That's beautiful. There's a lot of people, man, who go through things in life, man. And sometimes we don't know, man. Sometimes we just take things for granted, and you just never know what people are going through. You just never know the kind of demons that people are facing, man. It's rough out there sometimes, and so sometimes people just need, some help. Sometimes they need people to talk to. And so, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I've been through a lot in life. And so this actually means a lot more to me than you guys know at this moment. But at some point at this moment, we'll share a little bit. But yeah, I'll make an Unc a little bit emotional. So we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go to the break. We're going to go to the break. Unc's going to compose himself. And then when we come back, you guys want to talk about playoff stuff, man? We're definitely going to talk about that. You want to talk about playoffs? We're going to talk about where your Longhorns are at this moment. We're going to talk about K-State and everything that Chris Kleiman said to the media yesterday as he got into Texas. And we're going to talk about everything UT related. I got a Maalik stuff. I got Alex Dunlap, who I remember his name. He's going to be talking to us as well. So we got a lot of good stuff. And of course, Ari Temkin is going to be here at 10:20. So Alex Dunlap at 9:30. Ari Temkin at 10:20. So you guys don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Think about that season. So you guys had a bye week.
Yes.
In between that game and playing, ironically, Chad, at Rice after a week off.
We played Penn State. Won, of course. No one thought we could. On the road in Happy Valley. Had a bye week. Everybody thought we were all a patch on the back and you're great and this and that. And then we play Colorado and that occurs. And then we have a bye week after that too.
Yep. Y'all went bye week to start the season.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So we had to wait another week. Then we played Rice, and that fueled us though the rest of the season, man.
So how did y'all do it? That's the question I wanted to ask. Was you said you guys had the hangover after that Colorado game. But then y'all come back and basically didn't lose the rest of the season until you get to the bowl game. Right? So what happens after a disappointing loss that lets you know you're back and not still hungover? When does the hangover end? When did it end?
Speaking personally, that's when you have to do the self-reflection. Each guy has to go in and do that deliberation. Did I do my best, or where do I need to get better? And to have 2 weeks to think about that. After 2 weeks of being told you're the greatest and Texas is back and yada, 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 after winning at Happy Valley, they're ranked, you're not. And then it reverses. You did a complete 180. Now you're sulking for 2 weeks and you're chomping at the bit to get back out there, but you have to wait. So just personally, you rededicate yourself. That's what you do. You rededicate yourself. You endeavor to make up for the mistakes, to get in that film room. I'm going to work a little bit harder. I'm going to lift those weights a little bit longer. And that's what you have to do. And it's difficult. Now they've had to sit there for 2 weeks and think about the mistakes. And when they're little bitty mistakes that shouldn't occur, that's what eats at you. That's one thing if the team is that much better than you. But they're not. Oklahoma wasn't. And Colorado wasn't that much better than them. We just made the mistakes where they didn't. So you have to, one of my favorite quotes, Socrates, or Socrates, as we say in Texas, a life not self-examined is a life not worth living. Do that self-deliberation, man. You gotta sit there and reflect on your play and what type of player you want to be moving forward. And that was the fuel to and the catalyst to get us moving back in the right direction.
All right. Welcome back. All right. Okay, so I got Lil Dab. We'll do you. We'll talk mental health. Health is taken care of. All righty. And then let's do this too. While everybody's in here, it's Wednesday. It's the day after Halloween. November's coming around town. And hey, listen, you've got it's chilly outside. You need a little something to kind of warm you up, right? But you need something that's getting ready for the weekend. Texas has got a home game. You're thinking about maybe you're going to do a tailgate. Maybe you're going to do an after party after you feel like Texas pulls off the victory versus K-State, right? You got a lot of things on your mind, and you got a lot of things that you want to do. You want to throw some parties this weekend, maybe have a party on a Friday night, tailgate before a high school game, all kinds of fun stuff. You got to go to Specs. Specs has got you covered. Man, they even deliver. Are you serious? Yeah, they deliver to your doorstep, man. And we got to go just get on the app and put all that stuff, man. Man, Specs has got you covered. Check this message out from them.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
And cheers to you. All right, guys. Last night was the night that we had talked about. We honestly had anticipated. And Noble Powell says, hold on 1 second. Go take that off for a second, Aaron. Let's get to the super chat real quick. Noble Powell says, Tom G, you'll pledge $100 towards mental health. All right, man. We've got $1,100 so far. We got Tom G down for $5. I've got a Little Dab will do you down for $5. And then we've got 100 coming in from Noble Powell. I'm gonna write you down, Noble. So I've got you guys covered. And then what I'll do is I'm sure there's something I can do where like I could set up some sort of like account. So Tom G is matching. So Tom G is matching up to 500. Okay. Excuse me. Tom G is matching up to 500. Well, we already got 500 from a Little Dab to do you, right? So does Tom G matching that? I just want to know because that's what I did. That's the math I did. Nonetheless, there's got to be something. I oversee charities where you can just donate to the charity specifically. So it's nothing like you have to like donate something to me and you're like, where am I gonna do with the money? Like, you take his kid to Paris? Like, no, I'll figure this whole thing out and we'll make it happen. So I'll work on that. That'll be my project for today. So I got that thing covered. Okay, now let's go back. And thank you, Kiki. I see you as well. We had 1,200, man. That's pretty amazing. Man, Money B is in. Goodness gracious. All right, Money B, we're at 1,300. This is it's like a heck of a telethon. Okay, gotcha. Tom G, we'll figure it out. We'll sort it out, Tom G. Don't worry about it. You just do the math, Tom G, or Aaron will do the math. I'll do the show. Last night was the night that we had talked about, been waiting for. We had the AP thing that came out over the weekend. We had a coaches poll, but I kept saying the thing that's going to matter most when it's all said and done is the playoff committee and what they actually say and what they actually vote on. And we actually got it last night. For those who missed it, here we go. Selection committee rankings came out last night. We see Ohio State sitting at the number 1 spot, followed by Georgia, followed by Michigan, and followed by Florida State. Really of no real surprise as far as those top 4 is concerned. Yes, we probably expected Washington to be on the outside looking out, followed by Oregon, followed by Texas, and then Alabama. And then rounding out the top 10 would be Oklahoma and Mississippi State. So it's interesting in here, guys. I think I really feel like, for Texas to get in that top 4, you've got to have some people drop. And really, Aaron, you help me out as far as the math is concerned. I mean, if Ohio State loses, they probably don't drop below Texas when it's all said and done.
Yeah, if they lose to Michigan, then Michigan will be in the Big Ten championship. That would be an interesting one. It would be like a 1-loss Oregon, a 1-loss Texas, and then a 1-loss Ohio State would be interesting. I don't think they could put Ohio State above because they wouldn't have the Big Ten championship because theoretically Michigan would run the table there. So that would be an interesting one, but it is interesting to see Ohio State up at 1.
So who above like of the undefeated, because obviously if Oregon loses, they're done, right? So that's an easy out. Which ones do you think? Because I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see a path for Texas to get into top 4. Like I said, if you're 1 or 2, you don't drop that far, right? You're not going to drop that far. So then the question becomes: do they basically need like a Florida State or a Washington to kind of get out the way? Maybe some of the lower ranked, I say lower of the upper ranked teams.
Yeah. What I'm thinking right now is they've got to get ahead of Florida State. And if Florida State just loses 1 game, Texas will be ahead of Florida State. Then with the Pac-12, you've got Washington and Oregon. If Washington runs the table, they're going to be in. So you need Washington to have 1 loss. Ideally, you've got Washington and Oregon both with 1 loss going into the Pac-12 championship game. And then maybe you root for Washington in that one because they don't have as many good wins as Oregon. Or maybe, you definitely need some chaos in the Pac-12, and then you need Florida State to lose is what I'm mainly focusing on.
The problem with Florida State, though, let me look.
It's not a tough schedule. They've got Florida, and then they've got the ACC championship, and they also have Miami. So those are kind of the 3 games.
Okay, and then that they have, and so I was going to say I didn't think Florida State. I thought I saw something yesterday that unfortunately a lot of the people who are ranked ahead of them don't really have the toughest schedules remaining over the last 4 games, which would make it a little bit more challenging to get in there. So it looks. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. This is one of the things I think we'll have fun week to week. Hopefully, if Texas continues to win, we'll have fun week to week with this. I think the challenge just becomes the teams that are in front of them, the margins, Now, here's what, keep that up there, Aaron, for a second. Now, here's a really interesting thing. This kind of becomes the cool thing. Next year, when there's 12 teams that are in there, you now all of a sudden, even if Texas loses 1 more, you're good to go, right? So now, like if this was 2024, like now you're like, all right, well, Texas is number 7. Even if they lose another one, they've got a good chance of making it, so that's kind of where we're at right now. It just sucks that right now, like I said, you have to see the path of it. And then, in Texas guy, you're right. You like win out and then worry about the CFP. Texas guy too, you and I are on the same wavelength. And this is exactly what I was thinking when I was had this thing up, and is more like, all right, this sounds cool. It sounds cool to look at, but it doesn't necessarily apply to Texas where they're at this moment. And so until Texas gets there, it's really just because, all right, well, beat K-State and win your next 4, get to the Big 12 championship, win that, and then look up. I feel like if this thing holds, this doesn't really affect Texas for another couple of weeks, to be quite honest with you. I think Texas is on the outside looking in right now. Like right now, it's more of a, you do everything. If everything goes well, you're in the Cotton Bowl kind of thing. Like that's what it looks like, at this moment. Someone tagged me in something yesterday. I didn't get a chance to look it up. So I hope it was accurate. He tagged me in something that said like they had Texas. I think Bleacher Report projected Texas to be in the Alamo Bowl, which I know. I know I don't want to make a joke about mental health awareness, but boy, this is there will definitely be some things to be said if we're going back to San Antonio. Now, I don't mind San Antonio. 2-1 is good for me, but nonetheless, as far as a bowl game, as that we don't want to do that. And Aaron, can you get the quote that's up there, guys? If you missed this, after this thing got released, there was a quote from the committee about this. Let me read the question that was asked. It was a Q&A. It goes, I was wondering about the rankings between Texas, Alabama, and Oklahoma. What kind of discussions did you guys have? And how much did the matchup between Oklahoma and Texas play into that? Given that Oklahoma won that game, but they were ranked behind Texas. And the answer that we received was this. A lot of discussion. You go back. You go back to, we want to get this right as we look at it. A wonderful win by Oklahoma, last second drive to win this game. Goes, but when you factor in a 2-loss Kansas team this past weekend, getting the win over Oklahoma, Kansas with the 2 losses to Texas and Oklahoma State, while they continue to improve and play better body of work, if you will, looking at this Texas over Alabama, winning there in Tuscaloosa. This is a really run-on sentence, by the way. Similar Texas to Oklahoma, but then add in, boy, this sounds like math. What is this? All that being said, Texas and Oklahoma, then add in the fact that Oklahoma lost that game to Kansas as well as a close game to UCF. But primarily the loss to Kansas. At the end of the day, what he's saying is that Oklahoma victory against Texas, because of Oklahoma going out and losing to Kansas, that kind of hurts Texas. Basically, what's all that saying? Like, yes, that is what is basically come boiling down to as far as the CFP is concerned. And so basically now, it's going to make it a little bit tougher for Texas, because as they start looking for, quality wins and quality everything, basically saying Texas lost to an Oklahoma team that ain't really that good because they just came back and lost to Kansas. So how good is Texas if they lost to an Oklahoma team that lost to Kansas and they struggled against UCF? Unfortunately, Oklahoma is kind of screwing you, is when it's all said and done. Like it's at the end of the day, it's like it's screwed. Now, at the end of the day, if we're being honest, we're keeping it real, and we're doing what we call having accountability, right? The only one that to blame for Texas being in this situation right now is Texas, because if you don't have that loss to OU, we're not having this conversation. But because of the loss that happened to OU, now you put yourself in a whole lot of like hoping and wishing and praying kind of things. Keep your fingers crossed. And, now you're like, what could have been? So, like I said, we've got plenty of time. We'll see how this thing plays out. but I know you guys wanted to talk playoffs. And so that's exactly what we talked about. And one of the things I want to make sure that we did cover here as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about what K-State said. And then also some things that I just saw that I want to kind of get into. And also do me a favor, get your buy or sell questions in the chat as well. And so go ahead and start flooding the chat with buy or sell, because then after we talk a little K-State, I want to do a break and then do some buy or sell. And hopefully we can do that and push it up into when Alex joins us. But if not, like I said, get some buy or sell that's in here. Now I've got some Maalik Murphy's takes that I want to get into heavy on football today. So I appreciate you. Hit the like button, hit subscribe to the channel if you're done, as if you're around here as well. And so now, so Chris Kleiman addressed the media yesterday. Looks like his press conferences are on Tuesdays, and not everybody's on Monday. I get that. But his press conference was on a Tuesday, and he had a lot of cool things he said, and I was able to get some of the quotes. Actually, I get some quotes with Joe Cook over there on 3. Joe Cook's a good dude. I like him a lot. Just a really fun, really nice guy, classy, professional dude. And so I don't mind giving Joe Cook a shout out to Joe Cook for basically watching the press conference and tweeting out everything and doing the heavy lifting. So Unc didn't have to do that this morning. Thank you, Joe. By the way, I hope everything is going good in the new marriage and in the first. I got married before the season, and now they have their first holiday season together as a couple. So happy holidays to you guys and the Cook family. Kleiman talked about Maalik Murphy. And he said one of the things he had said is, you'd like to have more film. You would like to have a bigger sample size. He goes, and I think they did some things with him and try to get him going early, throwing the football. Because as you dive into the last couple of years of their film, they're going to do what they do because they do it really well. He's been in that system now for a while. They have a lot of confidence in him. You can see that he's got a tremendous arm talent. And I think he sees the field well. I think he's got patience in the pocket. So when you can make all the throws and are patient in the pocket, you're really dangerous. So funny when I went on shows. Aaron, I went on shows right before the last week where people had me on different shows, national shows, whatever. And I kept getting asked about Maalik Murphy as a dual threat quarterback. It was just, and I was like, are you being stereotypical? Because I'm just like, what made you ask that question, sir? Like, because he's like, I see Maalik is going to be the starting quarterback, and by goodness, Aaron said that the ESPN analysts were doing it too. That's crazy. I'm like, hey y'all, come on now. Hey, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Not every brother's athletic. I know some brothers who can't play basketball. I'm gonna let the secret out. I know some brothers who can't hoop. I know some brothers who are slow. I know some brothers who can't do so. He's not that guy. That's not him. That's not his game. That'd be hilarious if K-State spent all week be like, we gotta get ready for Maalik Murphy because he's a dual threat. Why? Oh, I love it. Hey guys, you gotta laugh. Life is fun. Chris Kleiman also said, he goes, I think this might be the best Texas team that I've seen in my 5 years collectively. Because when I say that, it's because I don't see any weaknesses on either side of the line of scrimmage or special teams. Because I think their team is playing with a ton of confidence. Because they believe that they're going to be successful. And then he also talked about Texas playing at a really, really high level, being physical up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage, really good skill on both sides of the ball. And Derek Young reported this as well. He had this out there after watching the press conference. He said that Chris Kleiman said that K-State tries to make teams one-dimensional, but this year won't be able to do that against Texas. Very complimentary. Very complimentary. And then Young also said that Kleiman says this is the best Texas has been collectively in his 5 years in the conference. So, yeah, lots of praise. Then I saw a Yahoo article that was really interesting. It's kind of said, just kind of went around, just kind of scanning the globe as to what was being said about your Longhorns. And one of the things that was interesting, I'm just going to read a little bit of this Yahoo article for you. It's a K-State coach, Chris Kleiman, thinks Will Howard has never looked better than he did, completing 15 of 17 passes for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns during the 41-0 victory against Houston. Quote, I have seen Will play a lot of really good football here because I saw him play what I thought was one of the most complete games he has played. Goes, now he has won a big championship and played really good in that game. He goes, I thought from start to finish, just being in control, being in command, having confidence, being on point, throwing the football, running the ball with authority. I thought he played one of his best games here. And then he just kind of went on to talk about over the past 3 weeks, Howard has completed 74% of his passes without throwing an interception. Over the past 3 weeks, Will Howard has completed 74% of his passes without throwing an interception. He said he stayed consistent. He's continuing to just believe in himself and keep pushing forward. You guys have seen that. You know that Will is going to bounce back. We've seen it over his career, so it's nothing new out of him. And then basically at the end of the day, you know, it seemed like the article was also pointing that even though the Avery Johnson is here, it looks like Will Howard has kind of put his flag down as far as being the starting quarterback for K-State. Like I said, I'm going to have a lot of K-State conversations, a lot of K-State talk coming up soon. So let's do this. Let's get some of your buy or sell. Let's go ahead and knock some of those out. So go ahead and get those in the chat. Let's do a quick break. And then when we come back, I'm going to do buy or sell. I'm going to want to talk to you guys about Maalik and this defense. I've got a lot of numbers. I've got a lot of stats that I want to talk to you. Yes, there will be math. Yes, there will be math today. I promise you today that there will be math, but I promise you it won't hurt you at all. So don't go anywhere. Hit like and subscribe to the channel. Don't go anywhere. If you're getting ready to get in the car, be safe. Go ahead and plug me back in, plug me in the USB, and let me finish off the rest of your drive. But get ready to do that. And Aaron, by the way, you know what I actually have done? These people have done this. I actually have started watching shows on our channel at like 1.5, 1.75 speed. I as weird as I thought it was, as long as you can get used to not the you know, kind of as long as you get to the stat, honestly, you do get through a lot of the fluff like a lot easier. You can watch the show a lot faster. I'll be honest with you. You guys hit me to something. I thought it was weird at first, and now I'm like, this is the only way I want to listen to shows nowadays. I want to listen in 1.5, 1.75 speed, and then get my show and everything I need to do. So you guys go ahead. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will be right back. More Texas K-State talk coming up.
They want to make this game ugly. They want it to be slow. You know, they want the clock to run. They want it to be a disjointed game. They don't want going back and forth. They don't want a basketball game. They need the Baltimore Ravens up this game a little bit. And that drive was kind of the opposite of that. They didn't, a little bit like Texas, right? They come out throwing the football, not really having a lot of success in this first drive. And here we are, 12:25 to go in the first quarter, and we're on our second punt of the game. Nice kick. Xavier Worthy takes the punt at the 25, and he's got a lane.
Nice return. Nice return. Worthy's gone. He's gone. It's
and
over.
For all of you that have wanted Xavier Worthy off of punt returns, how do you like them apples?
Wow.
He's been close to that all season long. And that was a case of the BYU punter kicking the ball too far down the field.
That was Was that 75? Did I see that yard marker right? Is that a 75-yard return?
Yeah, he caught it at about the 25. That's about right.
I'm telling you what, Catch, I don't think a dude in blue pants even touched him. It
was such a good punt.
Woo!
That it backed Worthy up, but it gave him a ton of space.
Yeah.
And so he avoids the first tackle attempt, and then he's just got acres of space to run through right down the middle. There wasn't a whole lot of fancy shake and bake on that. But
well, and that's extra dangerous too. If you can set it up to where that guy doesn't have to shake and bake and he can just go blinding speed, you're done. You talk about a dude that was done. That punter from BYU is going to – he won't hear it in film study, Catch, because they all know him. They know who he is.
He's like, none of them other dudes made tackles either.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Obviously, you can see Catch and Chad every day from 12 to 3 on House Divided. Make sure you check them out. They have a good time together. They're a really good couple. They're a real good couple. They really enjoy each other. They have a good time together. Speaking of enjoying, I enjoy you guys. You guys are my family. Absolute family. So invite me over for Thanksgiving. Huh? Who's got me this year? Who's inviting me over for Thanksgiving? Nah, I'm just joking. I won't come. Don't do it. Don't extend the invitation. I won't come. I got plans. For Thanksgiving. But yes, November is here. It's right around the corner. Speaking of, man, I gotta get my house in order, man. Freaking HOA down up my ass. I need to get my stuff taken care of. And I just remembered I gotta get my stuff taken care of because by Friday I can get notices on Friday. So my landscaping people have not contacted me. So that means I'm gonna get a $25 fine on Friday. So there you go. Oh well, it is what it is. Maybe I'll email the HOA people today. All right, let's do this. Let's do some buy or sell. Let's get this thing started. Let's see what's going on. Good morning to you, South End Zone Queen. What did you say? It's the best. What's the best? I don't know what the conversation was. I missed it. Something must have happened. I don't know. I still don't get it. Blake. Okay. Arch, buy or sell. Arch looks at the portal. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead. Oh, she's saying that the speed watching at 1.5 is the best. Okay. Thank you. Dang it, Aaron. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Queen. I do so much talking. I forget stuff. Hell, I forgot Alex's name this morning. I'll be honest with you. I literally forgot that dude's name. I'm like, oh, my main man is going to be on the show later today. It's, what's his name again? I worked with him last 9 years. Rhymes with Felix. What's that dude's name? Yes. Blake May goes by herself. Arch looks at the portal. If Quinn Ewers and Maalik Murphy stay at Texas next year. I would sell on that one. I don't know. Someone in the chat said something about there's something online about the top 3 schools that Arch could be interested in. Someone said that in the chat. Like there's something out there about that. I don't know who did that, but of course you guys know. I tell you, there's just Arch Manning is the total clickbait of all clickbait. If you just put Arch Manning in a headline, everyone's going to click on it. Doesn't matter what it is. Excuse me. And so, but I will tell you what I was told during the recruitment of Arch by very good sources. Okay, let's put that thing out there. Very good sources. Like I feel good, you know, knock on wood, you know, when I put things out there and I tell you guys stuff that it's accurate and that it won't blow up in my face. Because my main goal is, you know, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I also don't want to embarrass you guys as supporters of me, you know, whether as an Orange Web reporter or as a person who listens to the show. Like, I don't want you to have to come in here and be like, damn, what happened? You reported such and such. And shoot, like, just, you reported a guy was going to be out for the season and dude was back like in 2 days. Like, I want that. So I'm very clear on that. I was told that the Manning family was not afraid of the process. and that they weren't afraid of the process of development, and they understood very clearly how important development is, and that they're a quarterback family, so they're not necessarily willing to rush. I was told, and I know no one wants to buy it, no one wants to believe it, and I understand things in life happen. But I was told, and I'm serious about this, I was told from very good sources, the feeling from the Manning family is they've got 5 years to develop this kid into an NFL quarterback. They got 5 years. And I was told that they weren't going to rush the process of development. And I told that they wanted to be him to be developed and ready to go, because you also got to understand there's a family that sees what happens when you have Peyton go to a really bad team in Indianapolis, or you had Eli go to a really bad team in New York. Like, they understand, like, man, it takes some time. Like, yeah, they were good in college, but then it took time to become, turn into pros and turn teams around and all that. They understand, like, everything's a process, and they understand that there's no need to rush the process. So I would be surprised. I'll tell you like this, Blake. I'm selling because I would be surprised based off of everything that I know about that family and their approach to Texas. I'd be shocked if that all of a sudden he just said, "I'm out." That doesn't necessarily seem that who he is. Now, listen, in this game, when we talk about teenagers, things happen, right? So I can't, if you try to live in this world of absolutes as relates to teenagers, you're going to get burned sometimes. It just kind of is what it is, right? Kids think everyone thinks the kid's going somewhere on Sunday, and next thing you know, he goes somewhere else, right? That happens. But I'll be honest with you, Blake. I'd be really shocked. I'm going to sell on that, even if that did happen. Like, I think if I had to guess, my guess is if Quinn comes back, my guess is Maalik is the guy that's leaving. To be quite honest with you. Like that's where I put my money in. I wouldn't put my money on Arch. Not at this point. Not how that family is and not where they're at. It's not to say Maalik isn't, but Maalik would need to go somewhere and find playing time if that was the case. So I think Malik's plan is to battle Arch, is not to sit back behind Quinn for another year. At that point, I think for him, the clock is ticking and it'll be time to leave. Okay. Good question though, Blake. I'm glad you asked. I'm really glad you asked. Really glad you asked. Okay. By the way, this is why you listen to the show. I'm a reporter doing the show, so you get the information here. And that's not to say anything against anybody else on this channel or anybody else on otherwise. We had Aaron, all those guys in the morning show, like they're plugged in, they're on our Slack channel. Those guys are on Orange Bloods all the time. Like, they're very plugged in. They're very dialed in. But I just want you guys to know, like, when you're hearing stuff, this is not like some people who are just on the outside looking in. These are people on the inside who are helping you out. So I hope you appreciate that. Big Tex, my dude, Big Tex. I know, what's his name? G is probably like, wait. You ain't gonna call me Big Daddy, but you call me Big Tex. I'm like, just big difference. Big difference. That's all. Buy or sell. Texas will squeak by K-State, but lose to TCU or Iowa State. Why are you doing this to me? Why you keep doing this to me? I feel like Tyrese. Why are you doing this to me? I don't want to buy on that one. Here's why, Big Tex. I'm gonna sell. Here's why. I had Texas down as a 10-2 team, and I can adjust it. I can adjust it if I feel like it's the winds are blowing a certain way. Here's where I'm at, Big Tex. I can nitpick this team all day long. Sark said something to a reporter. He got upset with a reporter a week or two ago. But he said something that was true. He's like, you can make the stats say whatever you want them to say, just to support your narrative, right? And at the end of the day, it's hard for me just to ignore that Texas is getting the wins, right? Like, and we can nitpick. I don't like the fourth call plays. I want him to take the points. I don't like when it gets down on the goal line. I love to see some different variations of it. Like I can think of all kinds of little different things that I can nitpick, right? But at the end of the day, Texas, we literally put up a graphic of Texas competing for a national championship, or at least a chance to get into the playoffs, right? So more so the chance to get into the playoffs. They're still in that conversation. And so I have to go to myself when I take a step back and all the things that I look at, and at the end of the day, whether we talked about nitpick the slow starts at the beginning, or Texas wait until the second half to score points, or now it's about red zones and versus red zones. Now it's about goal line. Like, we can nitpick it all, but somehow, some way, they still keep getting it done. And this might just be one of those teams, Big Tex, that it doesn't look pretty. And it just might be one of those things, like sometimes just week to week, Texas may not beat a team, 65 to 14. And you just look to yourself and say, man, look how dominant they are. It might be some things where you just look at week to week and say to yourself, there it is. So K-State is a tricky game, and I'm going to get into the K-State conversation soon. K-State is a tricky game, but I'm just going to err on the side of caution here, and I'm going to say Texas wins, and I'm still going to stick with my 10-2 preseason. And the last thing I want to say on that is I just feel like if Texas gets past K-State, then my guess, not reporting, but my guess is we start getting closer to Quinn returning. And then I think at that point, then all systems are go. All right, let's do another one. Buy or sell. From Tom G, my guy who's matching. Again, Tom, look, just text me after the show. We'll figure it out, Tom. Okay, we'll get that whole thing set down. A buy or sell. Sark. I'm not laughing at you, Tom. You're my guy. I just read 3 words, and I don't even know what the rest of the question is. I read 4 words. I read Sarks takes the points, and that's what made me bust out laughing. I don't even know what you got after that, Tom. It might be something else about Sark takes the points for Men's Health Awareness Month, right? And I'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Like, you're supposed to take the points this month. But no, Sark takes the points this week. It does not go for as many 4th down conversions. Sell. I am selling that thing. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. Put it on put it on whatever you can sell things on. I don't even know what you can sell things on. Whatever your apps are that you can sell things on, put it on it. Put it on the market. You can Cash App me you can Venmo me. You can I'll find a way. You can Apple Pay me. I sell. This is what Sark does. This is what Sark. Here's the thing, Sark. Honestly, I think Sark now. It's like you ever like. It's almost like when you tell somebody to do something so often that they just won't do it out of spite, just to spite you. Just like, I know I can do it, but just to spite you, I'm not going to do it. I think that's where Sark is at now. I think Sark is right now. He's going to say, you know what? You guys keep asking me every week about going for the points and not going for a 4th down. I'm going to prove to you that I can do it. I'm going to prove to you that this thing can work. So watch. I think he'll do it out of pure, because remember he said, Tom, he goes off of gut, right? I hear the analytics. I'm just going to go off my gut feel on that thing, right? So no, his gut is telling him we can do this and pull this thing off. And so he is absolutely going to do it. I sell. And don't get towards the goal line and think to yourself, this man's going to kick a field goal. Nope. Not unless it's for the game winner. Not unless it's for a game winner. Outside that first quarter, second quarter, hang it up. Cancel Christmas. Ain't gonna happen. Like you said, you're right. CDC didn't hire a binder. They hired Steve Sarkisian. So he gonna do what Sark gonna do what Sark do. All right, let's do another one. We got more? Aaron, you're so funny. You're smiling behind there. You guys, let's see what I see. Something like Aaron's just back there grinning. I don't know what he's grinning at, but this is funny. Makes me smile. Junior Dogs, buy or sell. K-State goes heavy on the QB Avery Johnson run against us. I sell on that. Basically because Will Howard seems to be that dude. And the thing is, the thing with Johnson, I mean, you guys have Texas has faced a quarterback who's a running quarterback, right? Which was Jalen Monroe. That's what he was known for. That's basically kind of what he can do. So Jalen, because you were able to kind of like contain that for the most part. Like, couldn't stop it all the time, but you can contain it. The Dylan Gabriel thing was different because Dylan Gabriel can actually pass the ball, right? And so because Dylan Gabriel can actually pass the ball, that's what made the kind of thing different. Johnson's more of a runner. And I think the passing game needs to develop. I think it's a Will Howard show. I really think it's a Will Howard show. I think it's Will Howard testing the secondary and seeing what they can get on top. And so yeah, I'm gonna sell on the Johnson thing because I think if you put Johnson out there, I think Texas got the athletes to adjust to him. I think that if we're talking pound for pound, I don't think he's able to do what he did against Texas. Again, Texas is a face runner like that. So I will sell on that one, Junior Dogs or Junior DOGs, however you want to pronounce it. But good to see you as well. What else we got? Stanley, what's going on, Stan? I was listening to Eminem the other day and thought of you. Thought of the Stan song. Stan, you probably hated that song, right? Stan, that thing came out. And you're just like, man, I don't want to. Why? Sure. It's all good, Stan. Buy or sell. Maalik Murphy. Maalik Murphy is really fast and just been sandbagging this the whole time. We will unleash him when the time is right. Ooh, secret weapon. You know what I love? Can I tell you what I love? Listen, we're family, right? We are family, right? I consider us family where you and I can have open conversations that are fair and fun. I love when like announcers do comparisons, and every comparison is of someone of like the same particular race, right? So then, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's like a white running back, he's like Christian McCaffrey, right? If there's a white slot receiver, he reminds you of like Wes Welker, right? There's never anybody else, right? There's no other, they never compare like one, and there's no crossover, there. If it's like a white DB, it's what was his Seahorn, right? It's always the same comparisons. Like if it's a black mobile quarterback, he's Cam Newton. It's just like there's never like, it's like if you tell someone like, hey, Maalik reminds you of like Big Ben because he doesn't really move around in the pocket that much. He'd be like, what am I supposed to do with my stereotypes? I don't know what to do with this. I've built this up throughout all these years, and now you're defeating them. How is this possible? I thought every white running back was Christian McCaffrey. Like it's just hilarious to me. It just is hilarious. So Stan, thank you for making me laugh. I'll sell. And by the way, this is life, man. This is how we should be, man. We should be able to have open conversations about things, about race and stuff like that, and then not be like hostile. We should be able to laugh and enjoy ourselves, man. Life's too short for all that, man. Let's do that, okay? Let's do that together. Give me another buy or sell. Money B, what's up, fam? I'm gonna be flying, be in the airport. Money. Well, I guess I'm gonna want to fly for Iowa State. I'll be in the airport. But Money B. Buy or sell. Texas goes into the portal for a wide receiver, safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, and tight end. Okay, that's a lot. Okay. Let me go back. Tight end, I would say no, because you've got 2 freshmen tight end already on the roster. So I don't see you bringing a tight end. And they already got Gunner, Helm, and they got 2 freshman tight ends. So I would be surprised if they do that. Defensive tackle could definitely see they're going to be missing some guys. I think Sweat probably goes pro. I think Byron Murphy's got a choice to make, so that's possible. Linebacker, I don't know about that. They've got, there was 4 freshman linebackers this year, so not quite sure. It's possible. It's possible. So with a question mark on that one, it's possible on that one. Safety, I can see. Receiver for sure. I think they love to stack up on receivers. And yes, they do have the 5-star that will be coming in. But you probably lose Xavier. You're going to lose Xavier Worthy more than likely. You're going to lose Jordan Whittington. We'll see what happens with an Adonai Mitchell. Does he want to stay or does he want to go? But I can absolutely see them going into the portal and getting a receiver. So I kind of buying on a lot of what you said. And so, yeah, I'll buy a lot of what you said, and I'll sell, on the other ones as well. But very, very good question. Let's do that. Yes. All right, go ahead. I'm reading Stanley's comments there. You guys are hilarious. Tom G, back. Buy or sell. Assuming Texas goes heavy on the run, Jaden Blue gets 5+ carries. So what I'm trying to do, Tom, I'm trying to think what heavy looks like. So we're talking like 20, because we have to go. Yeah, it would be 20 for Brooks, probably 12 or so for CJ, and then there's going to be something Savion Reddish. So 5. Yeah, I can see 5. I can buy on that, Tom. I can buy on that. Yeah, if you're talking about at least 35 carries, then I can see. I had to do the math. 35 carries, I can see that one playing itself out. Like, absolutely, I can see that playing itself out. Aaron, let's do. How many? Do we have more, Aaron? We have more? Okay, let's do a few more, and then I want to make sure I get into some of the other topics before he gets in here. Blake May says buy or sell. We have more number 2 position players that should be a number 1 spot players than Sarkis is playing. I would sell on that. I would absolutely sell on that one, Blake. I don't know if I think the only argument that I feel like could be made is maybe for Ajante, as far as him being in there. I can't think of too many backups that I'm looking at that I'm saying to myself, that guy needs to be on the field right now. I'm just going through my list. I can't think of anyone on the offensive line. You can make a Jonte Cook argument. The running back position is kind of upset. Same for the defensive line, linebackers. No, I would sell on that one, Blake. Blake, do me a favor. Tell me in the chat who are the people that you feel, because I think more of it. There's guys you have in mind, Blake, that I don't know. So you tell me who the guys are you think should be in there. That's what I like to hear. So let's do that instead. Okay, appreciate it. And then I'll circle back to that. Let's do like 2 more. Let's do 2 more. Okay, Junior Dogs, buy or sell. Texas will get 2 turnovers against K-State offense. Buy. I know Will Randall hasn't. Will Howard has been pretty error-free and mistake-free. But at the end of the day, I think this defense has got something cooking. I think they'll apply pressure to him, and so yeah, I can totally see 2 turnovers for sure. I can totally see some interception. I can see an interception and a fumble for sure on that one. So yeah, I'll buy on that one. Good question. Let's do one more. Dwayne Garcia, buy or sell. Cook will have a receiving TD by the end of the regular season. Man, I gotta sell on that, Dwayne. He's not playing. I can't. I don't know where I would. It would take an injury to somebody at that point, I think, for it to happen. But at the end of the day, he's not playing enough for me to really put him in that mix. So, no. Red shirt's already gone, but I don't see them giving him more playing time at the expense of the other guys who they deem to be a little bit more important. So, no, I would actually sell on that one. And I think he gets PT and gets to learn. And that's kind of what it ends up being at this moment. So a sell on that. Okay, let's do this. Let me talk about Maalik Murphy. Because I really think this is a subject that, and I'll get to some of the get more into questions later. Just hold off on that for a second. Alex Dunlap will be here at 4:30. Jeez, I don't know what's going on. He'll be here at 9:30. He'll be at 9:30. I'm aging for you in front of your eyes, dog. I need to get. Have you guys done B12 shots? I feel like I need to get a B12 shot. Have you guys done this? I want to know if anyone's done a B12 shot and then if you find it to be effective at all. So if you've done B12, you find it to be effective, please let me know because I would love to know about that. I just want some insight on that. All right, so Maalik Murphy. Let's talk about Maalik. Let's talk about our friend, our buddy, the dual threat quarterback himself. Oh yeah, Mr. 1,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher. Let's talk about that guy, right? Clearly, Maalik made his first start, right? Maalik made his first start, obviously, last week, completing 16 to 25 passes, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Of course, he also had the fumble. And as I started looking into this thing and kind of getting into the matchup, I've heard, obviously, I had the guest on yesterday. We heard about how good the K-State defense is, or at least they have some good defensive moments. And so I really started kind of going a little deeper in the weeds to start talking to understand like the matchup of what Maalik is going to go against. Okay. And so there's a lot of different things that I'm going to throw at you, a lot of different stats that are going to be here. As I read them off, and I'm going to have some things that I'm going to display on the screen for you as well. So don't go anywhere. I've got some interesting nuggets to pass along to you, okay? So as we talk about K-State itself, okay? K-State, by the way, is one of 6 Power 5 teams to rank in the top 15 nationally in both scoring offense and scoring defense, okay? This week, they're averaging right now 37.4 points a game is where K-State is at right now. And then since Coach Klein took over as the defensive coordinator, offense, in the coordinators since the 2021 Texas Bowl, K-State is averaging 34.5 points per game. Right? K-State, from the defensive standpoint, is ranked in the top 25 nationally. Okay, in third down defense, 6 in third down defense. K-State is ranked. Okay, scoring defense, they're ranked 14th. This is in the nation. Pass efficiency defense, 16th. Rush defense, 23rd. Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting for everybody. Okay, since this is important. This is the stat that you need to know. Okay. Since K-State switched to a 3-3-5 alignment to start the 2021 season, K-State has allowed only 20.2 points per game, which is to tie for 15th in the nation and first in the Big 12. You guys talk a lot about the 3-3-5, how that's been a challenge for Texas. How do you feel like it's been a challenge for Sark this season? Understand, since K-State switched to a 3-3-5 to start the 2021 season, they are only giving up 20 points per game, tied for 15th in the nation. You want to know what Texas and Maalik are facing? They're facing a defense that doesn't give up a lot of points. That means like if you start thinking about prize picks later this week, you start thinking about more or less, you start thinking about your bets, and you start thinking about the over and unders. You better start thinking less. You better start thinking under as relates to this. As relates to the 335, right? Like I said, there's 22 points, and then by the way, that was 35 games that they've appeared in with that as well. And right now, K-State enters this game ranked 14th nationally, and first in the Big 12 in points allowed per game, 15.9 points per game. 15.9. Okay, so Aaron, you've got some of these things out here. Let's go through them. Aaron, I think I got 5 things. I think I got total defense, passing defense, third down conversions, rushing defense. Whatever order you want to put those up in, and there's also stats. Whatever order you want to put this up in, let's have the conversation about the K-State defense. I'll just follow your lead on it, Aaron. Total defense probably be good to go first, and we'll kind of expand from there. But let's look at total defense in the Big 12, okay, as relates to K-State. And so I want you guys to be able to kind of see the numbers of what you're dealing with, what the Longhorns will be facing, all right? So this is where we are in total defense. Okay, got it. Total defense, you see K-State is ranked at number 3 at this moment, just a hair behind Texas. So however good you think Texas's defense is, just know from a yards per games standpoint, Texas is giving up an average of 328 yards per game. K-State is just a hair behind them, one play, essentially, maybe 2, at 343. Okay, so from a defensive standpoint, what is a young quarterback facing? He's facing a stingy defense, 335, that doesn't give up a lot of points, and is not giving up a ton of yards. And you look at the rushing yards compared to the passing yards, you can see that, pretty stingy on the rush as far as the rushing is concerned. A little bit more liberal. If you're going to beat K-State, you got a chance to beat them probably more in the air. But overall, they're not giving up a ton when it's all said and done. All right. So that's K-State from a total defensive perspective. Let's look at the passing defense, Aaron, and see where K-State is as well. Passing defense. Here we go. What did I just say? If you're going to beat K-State, you got to be able to beat them through the air. Look at where they are right now, ranked 9th. You want to know what Sarkisian is going to do? You want to know the formula it is that's there. Running the ball is good, but you understand that they're tough against the run. But against the pass, this defense is ranked 9th against the pass. And they're giving up an average of 234 yards per game. So we'll start be airing it out. The odds are pretty good that they will be airing this thing out, giving up 7 touchdowns this season, to go along with 7 interceptions for K-State as well. So passing defense. And by the way, Darn, you're asking, did they run the 3-3-5 last year? Yes. Darn, you joined it late. K-State switched from a 4-man front to a 3-3-5 alignment in 2021. And since that switch, they are allowing 20.2 points per game, ranking 15th in the nation and tops in the Big 12. Okay. We've done total defense and passing defense. Let's look at opponents' third down conversions. Okay. Let's go into that. Let's go into those stats as well. Thank you so much, Aaron. Look at opponent third down conversions. Right now, K-State's ranked 3rd in the Big 12 as relates to opponent third down conversions. They're only giving up an average of 28.9% of the completions. 114 attempts, 33 completions. Again, Texas, and look, the margins are so thin. Look at Texas sitting there at 27.8. K-State is at 28.9. Again, so close. So just from a numbers standpoint, for comparison, just so you can see, look at Houston at the bottom, right? So that's what a bad defense looks like, right? It's nearly 50%. You know, you get to third down on Houston. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, right? So that's how good K-State's defense is, y'all. That's a good. Now let's look at the rushing defense. Again, gives us a little bit more behind the scenes. But look at the rushing defense. Back up at the top. Back up at the top with Texas. When they're talking about, hey, this is probably going to be a hard-nosed battle. This is probably going to be a battle back and forth. You know, when they're expecting this game to be physical, this is why. Look at this defense. Look at this K-State defense giving up an average of 109 yards per game. Texas, again, at 97 yards per game. But we're not talking about huge margins here, right? We're talking really, really slim. So the rushing defense, that's one of K-State's strengths, is to be able to stop the run. Not as good against the pass, right? 9th against the pass, but 2nd against the rush. So we know, hey, what the area of emphasis is going to be. What the area of emphasis is: stop that run and try to prevent the pass. The very last category is the sacks. As far as keeping that young quarterback, Maalik Murphy, upright. Look at our sack totals at this moment. K-State tied for 2nd in the conference in sack, tied along with Texas and Kansas. Y'all, outside of the passing defense, Texas and Kansas State, just from a statistical standpoint, are very, very similar. Very, very similar right now. And so you look at the sacks that they've been able to accumulate. Again, 19 sacks for K-State, same as Texas, the same as Kansas. Surprisingly, UCF is at 18. That's crazy. BYU, goodness gracious, ain't got no quarterback pressure. I mean, golly, 8? My goodness, you should be able to stumble in 8, man. That's horrible. So it gives you kind of an idea of where it is. So yes, in that conversation of, okay, what's going to happen for Maalik Murphy in his first, second start, you see the challenge. You see a defense that he's facing, a 3-3-5 defense that doesn't give up a lot of points, that is very stingy, very good against the run, not so good against the pass. When you start thinking about how does Texas beat K-State, the answer is they're going to have to do it through the air. They don't win unless Maalik Murphy can air it out, right? They don't win unless Maalik Murphy can use his arm, make the throws, and make that thing happen. The stats show it, the numbers show it, and then we know that this defense is going to come here kind of stingy. And so we go through, there's that. Texas Boy put something in the super chat. Hello, Texas Boy. Let's not forget, Texas has those stats, having a harder schedule. Texas Boy, very, very fair point. Texas Boy, I would not argue you on that point. I 100% agree with you. I will also say, though, within the conversation that needs to be had, Texas Boy, we also have to be fair and admit that we have seen some, Houston did happen, right? Now, BYU happened. So what Texas team, or what are we led to believe, right, when it's all said and done? But Texas Boy, you're correct. Texas has done that against, an Alabama of the world. But was there some struggles against Oklahoma? Sure. Was there some struggles against Houston? Sure. Did they seemingly right the ship against BYU? Maybe. I think we'll find out a little bit more. But Texas Boy, you make you make a good thing. Now, I'm not saying K-State is soft by any stretch of imagination, but I do get what you're saying as far as putting those numbers and everything in perspective. Everything does have a lot of sense. It does make some sense. All right, well, so let's do this, Aaron. Al should be in soon, so let's do a quick break, and then we'll come back. As we wait for Alex, if Alex is taking a little bit more time, we'll do some more buy or sells, and then we'll have some more discussion about everything else Texas Longhorn football related. You guys do not go anywhere.
And Texas has played kind of an uneven brand of football at times over the course of the month of October. I got to just honestly, like, I can't tell you the game that it's going to happen in, but if they don't start playing more like September brand of football and less like October brand of football, I think there's a possible loss in there for Texas. And, you know, this is a major moment this is a crossroads moment for Steve Sarkisian, because they are on the cusp of really having a great season. It's been a great start. Quite frankly, 7-1 at this point in the year, given how long it's been since they've been with that record, 8 games into the season, an absolute success. But if they fumble it away in these last 4 games, the only thing that people will remember is the fumbling away part. So it is impaired. Like, this is, I mentioned it a week ago, Steve Sarkisian has to be at his best. It is one of the wild cards going into Saturdays. What do you get from this offense? What happens when Sarkisian gets off the script? They're going to probably be really good in the first quarter. And I think one of the keys to this game is getting ahead early on Kansas State and making them play outside of their comfort zone. If Texas can go up 14-0, 14-3, 21-3, like they have each of the last 2 weeks, I think that's exactly what the doctor ordered. But Texas got to play better in the middle of these football games. 2 weeks in a row, they've essentially gone 40 minutes of game time with not good offense. They didn't score at all for 37 minutes of game time against Houston 2 weeks ago. And yesterday or Saturday, 40 minutes, I think it was like 40 minutes and 3 seconds or something like that. Slightly more than 40 minutes where Texas had one offensive possession that ended with a touchdown against a bad defense. You know, they have to play better against Kansas State or they can lose that game.
All right. Welcome back. I promise you, I will not forget his name this time. Let's go into the Speakeasy Lounge and bring in, what's that guy's name again? I forgot. Oh, yeah, Alex Dunlap. Alex, have you ever had like a brain fart where you're like, oh my God, like, I don't know why I don't remember this. This morning, I was like, hey, man, hey, at the 9:30 hour, you know, my main man, my dude, my guy, literally, I forgot your name.
Nah, yeah, maybe. I mean, I've certainly had some things like that. That's kind of a, forgetting my names a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know. Hey, it's fine. It's fine. We all do it. You got to sit here and talk 3 hours a day, man.
Yeah, I was aging before everyone's eyes, Alex. So Alex, I have to ask the question. Okay, no one has asked you this yet, but it's fair because this is what you're known for, Alex. The kids went out trick-or-treating yesterday. I want to know, how many pieces of candy were your kids allowed to have after trick-or-treating last night?
They could have one piece.
Still only one.
Yeah. And they snuck a couple pieces while they were out trick-or-treating, actually, I'm sure. But yeah. One piece.
One piece.
If you're lucky, if you can get through the Squid Game.
Okay. Tell everybody how your kids are now allowed to get candy going forward, right?
I broke down the strat on my show yesterday. So anybody that listened yesterday will know. Basically, you got to roll the dice, right? So first thing you got to do is you got to separate the candy out into chocolates into fruity ones. Okay. And then you roll a die, like not just one die. And if you get an even number, that means you can choose out one piece of chocolate candy. If you get an odd number, it means that you can get one piece of fruity candy, except if it's a 1, right? So if it's a 2, 4, 6, you can have a chocolate. If it's a 3 or 5, you can have a fruity candy. If it is, which kind of, it works, it's 60% one, 40% the other. That's kind of how it kind of maps out with this candy anyway, right? You get 60% of it that's basically chocolate, 40% of it that's more the Skittles, Starburst, all the rest, right?
Mhm.
So, but if you get a 1, that means you got to roll again. And if you roll 1 a second time, that means you got to take all the candy, your brother's candy, your sister's candy, everybody's candy, and walk it right out to the trash and go throw it all away.
This is so traumatic. Just all of it. Have they ever rolled it and had to throw it away?
No. It's really hard to roll two 1s. It's really hard to roll 2 1s.
So, if they do roll it, you literally going to make the kids got it. They got to
walk right out to the outside trash, not the inside trash. Take it right out there, throw it right away in front of everybody. Absolutely. Actions have consequences.
So what? Okay, Alex. So what's the purpose of having them go trick or treating if they can eat the candy?
They can eat the candy. They got to play the squid game.
This is well, everyone. When we see Alex's kids in therapy years from now, and we talk about the issues that dad has caused, I think we'll be able to start right here, and with the kid kind of keep working it our way forward. Is it only candy, Alex, that these things? What about Christmas? Are they allowed to open their gifts on Christmas? All of them?
Not all of them. No, of course not. Of course there's no restrictions on Christmas, man.
I just want to know.
Christmas in the cockamamie made up holiday. What are we doing? We make up a holiday to celebrate ghosts and demons and the devil, and all we want to do is give our kids a bunch of brain and teeth rotting candy out of it. It's a cockamamie holiday.
Halloween, you mean, not Christmas? You mean Halloween?
Of course, not Christmas.
Okay, it is a cockamamie holiday that's celebrated worldwide. But yes, Aaron puts in, our producer puts in, roll back-to-back 5s and Christmas is canceled this year. Take that tree out and throw it away. Okay, so Alex, real quick before we talk football, because I find you so fascinating. You're so fascinating to me. Do you cut down your tree or do you go to a tree lot?
Oh, dude. No, I know.
I just want to know.
Yeah, Clark Griswold going to cut down.
Yes.
We don't have access to Douglas. I mean, where do you go to get a Douglas fir around here? I can't drive to Washington State or something like Clark Griswold. No, I go and buy them, but it is always an adventure to get mine. Basically, since I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I stay home whenever my family goes and does it. Generally, they'll expect me by the time they get home from Dallas, where my wife's family lives, to Darwin Lemon saying, use a cedar. No, oh gosh, you imagine. You guys know how my nose and my allergies are without that stuff. But the deal is in my house, we have like really tall ceilings in the main area where the tree goes. So, and my kids and me too, right? We like a really tall tree. And so it's like, they're like 15 feet high or something like that. And you can, they do have trees at Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff that can come in that 12 to 15 foot range, but man, to get them, you gotta do some calling around to find a place that has one. And then once they find a place that has one, especially these last couple of years, there was because it goes in cycles, but it was a little bit better last year. But I heard this year it's going to be tougher because there was the drought and there were some fires. Was it this year that there were fires up there in Washington State, or was that last year?
I can't remember, Alex. I don't remember. People.
Well, these are things you need to keep an eye on.
I don't know, Alex. That's what you're here for.
My God,
that's what you're here for, Alex. You're here to tell me about all this outdoorsy, things that I need to know, Alex.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be there have been fires these last couple of years. It's made it a little bit harder to get those big mature trees. Some of the ones that you get that are just the 6, 7, 8 feet tall ones, those can be grown in a year. But what people don't realize about trees is to get to that critical mass, to get to that super big, tall
guy, right? Those aren't as profitable for the tree farms because they take like 4 years to get there. Whereas most of the tree sizes that people want, you're gonna be able to get just after a year and a half. And so it makes it even harder to find them. So, but yeah, that's my Christmas tree thing. Of course, it's always going to be a struggle that I'm going to make hard on myself to make sure we get a super tall Christmas tree. But my kids love to, they love to have a really, really, really big one there in the main room.
Darwin says my tree's in the closet. No, Darwin, that's not true. I go out to a Papa Noel's every year and buy my tree. It's kind of expensive, but I'd like to feel like it's a real tree place, right? As opposed to going to like a Home Depot.
These trees. Oh, what do you mean a real tree place as opposed to Home Depot?
The Home Depot's not real trees, right?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. They're perfectly fine. I get them at Home Depot all the time. Lowe's.
You get a tree from Home Depot.
In fact, I would never shop at Papa Noel.
Why?
Because I don't like at least
because they're the man or something. What?
No, because they don't have the 12 to 15 foot tall trees. They don't have the good trees.
They have tall trees.
Not 12 to 15. I guarantee you they don't have 12 to 15 foot
I'm
trees.
in the 8-foot range. I get mine's like 8 foot though, like most people.
Hey, as long as somebody said that they're coming to OB for Christmas tree advice, can I just give one more bit of Christmas tree advice? And it's not so much with the Christmas tree; it's just a Christmas tree stand.
Yes.
Okay, just 2 words. I believe it's Tree Genie. Tree Genie. Okay, let me make sure that that's the right thing. Okay. Now it's a little bit expensive. Okay, don't let the sticker shock get to you at first, because I'll tell you what this thing's going to save you. The days of you getting underneath the Christmas tree with your wife having to hold it and stuff like that, and you're having to get under there and hold it straight, honey. I need to get this one peg on this one side so it doesn't come over this way, and I got to get this one peg over here, and you got to get underneath there. You're getting a big fight about it if Christmas gets ruined. No. I take a 14-foot, 15-foot tree, I put it up, I stick it in the Tree Genie, I pump it a couple times with my foot, and I do it myself in literally 30 seconds, 15 seconds. It's that simple.
Really? I'm looking up this Tree Genie right now. Okay. Yeah. Because Alex, I'll tell you what, I do it and it makes it even and everything, Alex.
Perfectly even. You'll see whenever you get it going. Like you just kind of hold it. You just hold it in place. You put it in there yourself. It's got this awesome thing where it can fill up with up to like 4 gallons of water at the very bottom. And it gives you a little water level thing on there. So when the water level thing goes down, to add more water. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's kind of expensive. But dude,
like $80, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean,
yours is more expensive because you have a bigger one. So yours is probably
like I have the XL. But it's like I'm telling you, man, it saves a lot of fights of people trying to put people get on big tilt trying to put these things up.
Nice.
We'll never go back.
Alex. Yeah. I appreciate. You know what? And I usually do it myself. And so
very easy.
So all right. Well, thank you, Alex. You have saved me some stuff. And then I'll have to look into your Home Depot tree.
Hey, check it out. Just give it a look.
I'm gonna check it out. I just thought it was like the basement shopping of trees, though. All right. So Alex, now after we've done tree advice, you also did your deep dig, right? You posted obviously the defense yesterday. I'm just kind of curious as to what you might be able to share from your analysis into the game as far as the productivity is concerned. Who stood out, to you, and what did you notice, from what seemingly was a kind of dominating Texas defensive performance?
Well, I mean, I can talk. I mean, I can maybe just give you a couple things, and you can tell me which thing you think sounds best. Baron Sorrell, he finally shows up in the kind of stat sheet with another sack, but if you look at his underlying numbers and some of the more advanced stats that I've pulled together, in the deep dig, he's actually been probably twice as good this year as he was last year. That might surprise some people as to why. There's been a major shift towards Anthony Hill. He's basically the starter now over David Bendo. Talk about that. Alfred Collins played less than he's played all season. I wonder if he's still a little bit injured. There was a Maurice Blackwell kind of mini breakout. There was an unbelievable lack of holding calls. There was Jalen Ford sort of getting back to the efficiency level that we had kind of hoped to see of him. even though he's still not operating at the same efficiency that he operated with last year. So if there's any of those topics you'd want to talk about, I can talk about those, or if any specific players or any. I mean, I could talk about.
What about Baron Sorrell? I mean, because you talked about him being, you said as efficient or more efficient than he was last season.
Yeah, a lot more. So I do the number. It's the snaps per production caused, which is an efficiency metric. Basically, I started doing it because in the deep dig rankings, it would have the I got a PayPal notice that I got money. Who's sending me money? Okay. I'll look into that after a while. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. That'll always throw you off when you're looking here, trying to get to your numbers.
That's kind of old school to use PayPal, isn't it?
I don't care. Somebody's sending me money. I'm not going to complain. All right. So I'm just trying to get the actual number here pulled up. Okay. So last season, even though he had the 5.5. The deep dig only has him at 5 sacks, but the school has him at 5.5 sacks. Regardless, we're through 8 games of the season now. We have 4 games left, so that means we're 2/3 of the way through the season, and he's not on pace to have his same number of sacks. Right? He's at 2. Yeah. Okay, so even with that being the case, last year he generated production in the deep dig scoring only once every 16.15 snaps, which is, if you look at that historically, that's not very good at all. That's actually kind of bad, right? There weren't a whole lot of ways that he was being super useful outside of just those sacks. This year, his number it's at 9.52 snaps per disruption or snaps per production caused, which is clearly much better. And people ask, all right, well, what does that mean, right? What is that? Those are just numbers to me. What does that mean? Well, whenever I take the efficiency grades, the reason I do it is because if we look at just the market share of defensive production, you're going to have somebody like Jalen Ford. He's going to be on top of the production list, regardless of how efficient he's been, just because he's played 441 snaps, right? His nearest competitor as far as snaps they played during the season is going to be, I think right now it's Terrence Brooks is the second, and he's played 324 snaps. But guys like T'Vondre Sweat, Anthony Hill, Jahdae Barron, Byron Murphy, Michael Taft now, right? Your most efficient guys on the defense. These are guys who are generating production once every 5.73, 5.74, 5.76 snaps. That is in the elite range of guys like Joseph Osai, Deshaun Elliott, Malcolm Brown, Hassan Ridgeway. It's better than, Maalik Jefferson. It's better than much better than just like DeMarvion Overshone or Charles Omenihu. These guys are operating with an efficiency that's just super elite, but they've only played 255 snaps, 239 snaps, 262 snaps. Jalen Ford's played 441, right? And so with that level of, and I'm going to come back to Baron Sorrell here if you just bear with me, right?
Yeah.
With the fact that the rankings have Jalen Ford as the best player on defense, I wanted to make an efficiency category to say okay, well, he's the best player on defense, but how often, how many snaps is it taking him to generate 1 point for his production, right? And that's where the efficiency numbers come from. And when I see volume plus efficiency, that's when I know that these players are studs, right? The Sweats, the Anthony Hills, the Byron Murphys, the Jahdae Barrons, right now. Technically starting to be Michael Taft. I mean, he's playing like a stud. Jalen Ford's a little bit out of that category for me. But where Baron Sorrell sat last year with that efficiency number was once every 16 snaps, right? We just said the super elite guys are down once every 7 or once every 5.5 to 7, right? Jalen Ford right now is at every 8.4 snaps. He's starting to play better. Baron Sorrell's now down to every 9.52 snaps. And the reason is because, we're only 2/3 of the way through the season, but he already has as many quarterback hits as he had last season. Last season, he had 4 quarterback hits. He already has 4 quarterback hits this year. And this isn't like the cockamamie school, right? That Bianco, that guy can just ruin everything. But they dude, with what they do is with the tackles, and it's not just cockamamie Bianco, right? Tyrannical despot Bianco.
It's just catching strays.
it's not strays towards Bianco. That's
what has he done lately?
He's continued to be terrible. He's just I mean he's been status quo Bianco. It's not like him normally, right? Where his SID department will say that a tackle, like a tackle is also like if you get a sack, you also get a tackle and a TFL, right? So it makes this. I don't do it like that at the deep dig, right? Like a sack's a sack, a regular tackle is a regular tackle, all the rest of it. So with these sacks, a sack is not like a quarterback hit plus a quarterback pressure plus a sack, right? So when we talk about quarterback hits, that's aside from sacks, right? And aside from pressures. So he has 4 quarterback hits that were non-sacks and non-pressures. He had that's as many as he had all of last season. We're only through 8 games of this year. He has 13 quarterback pressures, right? That aren't hits, like a completely separate thing, right? A pressure where he gets pressure on the quarterback. The announcer's like, Baron Sorrell gets pressure. He's flushed out of the pocket. He makes a bad, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a pressure. He has 13 of those. That's as many as he generated in the entirety of last season. He has as many run stuffs. Not a huge run stuffer. What a run stuff is in the deep dig. It's just where you fit up your gap and the runner tries to come to your gap, and that's where he was originally his original aiming point was, and he has to start over once he gets there and try and create on his own. It's a really tough thing to have to do, but it's something that you're never going to get credit for because the person who's going to get credit is the linebacker that's scraping over the side, who's going to be the beneficiary of that running back's momentum completely stopping and having to shift with what he's doing, right? So he's never been a huge run stuff guy, the same way they say like Byron Murphy's the run stuff god. Tavondre Sweat's really good at that, but it's not Sorrell's role. It's not so much, but he has had three run stuffs this year. That was as many as he had all of last season, and again, only through 8 games. He's even added a PBU, and this doesn't even count the hustle play where he ran with the running back. I forget which game it was. Do you remember the game where he ran with the running back on that wheel route? Where you're just like, oh man, what a great play from Baron Sorrell. So look, people might look at him and think he's having a down year. It feels like it's like his sacks are down. I'm just like, dude, he's a lot better this year than he was last season.
Tell me, when you say Michael Taft is playing like a stud, break it down for me as to what you're seeing. Because here's the reason why I know what you're saying is correct, is that Taft is a guy that they're bringing to the media every week now. And so I know you're putting some guy up in front of the media every single week. You clearly think he is playing on a high level, but break it down for me what you're seeing.
Well, I think that for one, certainly Westlake Chaparrals get big time manual bonus points in the deep dig. Dude, I mean, a lot of it's buoyed by the fact that he has that 2 like deep dig score, and the deep dig interceptions are really important plays. He's had I think it's back-to-back weeks with interceptions. And just it's his open field tackling. He's one of the team's most sure tacklers. He did miss 1 tackle this week, but that was sort of an uncharacteristic kind of miss for him. It feels like him and Jahdae Barron are 2 guys where when and Coach Stark says that this is part of the culture, right? And I always talk about on my show how cultures, when you hear Sark talk about culture and how he likes the culture and how he feels good about it. He's getting to a point in this time here where, that kind of culture, it can be, the foundation of it can start getting here. I always talk about how Mac Brown, right, would say coming into a press conference one week, back when I would go to these cockamamie press conferences with all you journos. I
don't like those guys either.
He would always say stuff like they'd be coming off of a loss or something like that. And he'd say something like, well, this week we're going to line up and we're going to play hard-nosed football and we're going to run the football and we're going to run power football this week. I'm just like, Coach, you can't just line up one week and say we're going to be a hard-nosed, man and gap power football blocking team. That's culture. That can't be. You can't turn it on. You can't turn it on for 1 week. Like that's something where you go to school like Wisconsin. It's part of the culture. It's like it's in the walls. Like part of what Sark has said is his culture that's beginning to get built is the ability to to be able to be able to. And this is an interesting thing to say about your culture, but I've always said it's things like gang tackling. That's a culture thing, right? That's a culture thing. What Sark says is a culture thing is flying upfield and making open field tackles on screens. He just says that's a culture. That's part of our culture. And you think about it, in today's world of college football, that's kind of an important thing. How many of these jets and bubbles and orbit motions and all this screen stuff to the sides do you always see? How important is it for guys like Jahdae Barron and Michael Taft to get upfield and make those open field plays, especially whenever, they're coming out of bunch sets where there's 2 wide receivers that are getting stock blocks on these 2 other guys, man. And you're the one free dude, and you got to get upfield and you got to make that tackle. You got to get that TFL. You can't let him free up the sidelines. We've seen what happens whenever they do, right? Michael Taft is really good at that. Jahdae Barron's really good at that. Those are 2 guys that make plays that are big time plays for the team, do it pretty consistently. And then with Taft specifically, I mean, he's getting up to where he's played 169 snaps right now. He's generated more production than Ethan Burke, who's been hurt, than Ryan Watts, who's played 226 snaps, than Maalik Muhammad, who's played 256 snaps. He's generated, just oodles more production than Alfred Collins, who is played 220 snaps, more than Justice Finkley, more than Jalen Catalon, more than Vernon Broughton, more than Gavin Holmes, more than Jet Bush, more than Keaton Crawford, all guys who played more than him. So more than Derek Williams, who's been a stud, right? So I think that you'd be hard pressed to say that he's not playing at a level that here's the thing, Anwar, he's a starter, and look, he's Michael Taft has been thrown at six times this season. He's allowed, and now that play where he made the interception last week, that wasn't him being thrown at, right? That was a ball batted up in the air, right? But just consider this. So of the 6 times that he's been thrown at, he's allowed 1 completion. He's been burned in coverage twice, but he's also had 3 blow-ups, which are pass breakups where you blow up the receiver, right? And he's had 2 interceptions. Now, one of those was not one where he was targeted, but it still counts as an interception, right? But of the 6 times that he's been targeted, all right, he's allowed a completion once. He's had 2 that went his coverage burns, and the other 3 he's blown up the wide receiver. So as far as the total completion percentage he's allowing so far this season, it's just at 50%, which is better than Jaron Thompson at 58.82%. It's better than Keaton Crawford at 81.25%. And we know that Jalen Catalon's just not, he's just not playing right now. But I mean, I'd be interested to see what Jalen Catalon's was when he was. I tend to think it's better than Jalen Catalon. 62.5% completion percentage when he's been targeted. So Michael Taft's a starter right now. He goes out there with the starters. He's been a better player than I think that most people would expect.
Last one, Alex, and I'll let you roll out of here because Nico did ask a question about Jaron Thompson's numbers. What can you say about Jaron Thompson and where he's at right now?
Okay. The first thing that pops out to me, and I don't know if it's right, but I'll bet you he is up there as far as missed tackles on the team. Let me just sort by missed tackles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I just know I watched too much of these guys. Yeah. So he does lead the team in missed tackles. That's kind of been his bugaboo this season. He's missed 8 tackles this season. Which is clearly horrible. His snaps and it's not just because he plays a lot. If you look at his snaps per missed tackle, he's sitting right now at 36.375 snaps per missed tackle. Among 100 snap qualifiers, only 2 guys have been worse than him. Jalen Catalon has allowed a missed tackle once every 24.4 snaps. Jet Bush has allowed a missed tackle once every 33.8 snaps. the thing about Jaron Thompson is, he's actually been decent when the ball's been thrown his way. Nothing terrible. He's been targeted 17 times. He's allowed 8 completions. He's had 2 coverage burns, but he's had 2 PBUs, 2 interceptions, 2 blow ups. So not terrible, right? 58.82% completion percentage. So not quite as good as Michael Taft. The thing about him is that, his production, he's generating production right now once every 10.8 snaps. So, right there on the precipice of what I would say is good, right? Like I said earlier, you get to that level of 10, you can be a good player kind of operating there at the 10. It's when you get up to that 14, 15, you start saying, man, there's got to be somebody more efficient than this than we can have in there. I think what buoys his grade a little bit is the fact that he has a touchdown, right? And that counts a whole lot. That counts for a whole lot of points in the deep dig grading. And I would think without that touchdown, I could probably just look and see. So I'll just say without that touchdown, he'd be at once every 13.9. Once every 13.9 snaps, which really feels a lot different between once every 10.8. So I think with him, it's the missed tackles. He gets a lot off for that. It looks like he also has a penalty. He has a blown contain. And he's just done nothing behind the line of scrimmage, right? A lot of these other safeties have at least had, they've had a run stuff or a pressure or a TFL, maybe a batted pass or a quarterback hit, something like that. He's not involved in that way. He's always more in that kind of field safety role where people would see it sort of more as a free safety if they were just talking about it in normal football terms. And I think that's kind of the deal with him. He hasn't been bad. He's had a couple of big impact plays, but it's been a little bit nondescript this year as far as everything outside of the pick six.
Okay, so Alex, just tell everybody when you have your shows, tell them what days you go into the offensive, analysis, and the days you give them the defensive analysis. When you obviously check out Football with Friends, Alex Dunlap from 3:30 to 5:30 every day.
Yeah. So 3:30, 5:30. During the kind of the rotation I'm in right now is that. So Mondays I'll do the defense. Tuesdays we'll wrap up because it's like just like this. I get talking and who knows when I'm going to end. So we don't get through the defense, and so I'll clean up the defense. On Tuesdays I'll also go over the press conference of the opposing coach, and start talking about my scouting work on the opposing team, right? Maybe the ways that I could see maybe attacking the opposing team, talking a little bit about schemes and things like that. Wednesdays, I'll have, I hope I'll have, it was a late morning this morning because of the whole Halloween thing last night. But I'll have the offense, all the offensive line grades. We'll talk about that stuff. We'll have Anwar on. We'll, have some fun. And then Thursdays is just we'll wrap up with the offense. We'll talk about Sark's availability. We'll really just turn our focus to, the keys to victory, what needs to happen this weekend. Fridays is the final takes Fridays. Cody Carpentier comes on, co-host with me, and we give all of our final takes with Blake before the weekend. So it's fun, man. It's fun as hell. You guys come hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be on there obviously at 4:00 today. So I'm looking forward to that. Hold on. I want to see if I can ask you something real quick. I'm gonna see if I can find it within the next few seconds. If not, I'll save it. I'll ask you. I had something and I'll ask you it on your show today. So it'll take me too long to find it. So I should have been better prepared. But thank you, Alex. Thank you. Thank you for the tree genie. I appreciate that.
Just get in the shopping cart just so you don't forget, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna save you a lot of time.
I will definitely do that. Alex Dunlap, I know his name now. My friend Alex. I'll be on his show at 4:00 today. So again, still coming up soon. I've got Ari Temkin from Big 12 Radio, friend of mine, friend of the show. He will be on in the next 15 minutes or so. And he's going to basically break down everything that we need to know about Kansas, Texas. Like, he's a good guy. Love talking to him. as always. Just always a great person, great dude, just a great overall guy. So you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to do a quick break. And then when we'll come back, we'll do a couple of social media standouts. I've got Ari Temkin coming soon. So we'll have a little bit of fun, and then we'll definitely get into Ari, and we'll have some more fun. All right, don't go anywhere.
Thing about that season, so you guys had a bye week.
Yes.
Between that game and playing, ironically, Chad, at Rice after a week off.
We played Penn State. Won, of course. No one thought we could. On the road in Happy Valley. Had a bye week. Everybody thought we were all a patch on the back and you're great and this and that. And then we play Colorado and that occurs. And then we have a bye week after that too.
Yep. Y'all went bye week to start the season.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So we had to wait another week. Then we played Rice, and that fueled us though the rest of the season, man.
So how did y'all do it? That's the question I wanted to ask. Was you said you guys had the hangover after that Colorado game, but then y'all come back and basically didn't lose the rest of the season until you get to the bowl game. Right? So what happens after a disappointing loss that lets you know you're back and not still hungover? When does the hangover end? When did it end?
Speaking personally, that's when you have to do the self-reflection. Each guy has to go in and do that deliberation. Did I do my best, or where do I need to get better? And to have 2 weeks to think about that. After 2 weeks of being told you're the greatest and Texas is back and yada, 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 after winning at Happy Valley, they're ranked, you're not. And then it reverses. You did a complete 180. Now you're sulking for 2 weeks and you're chomping at the bit to get back out there, but you have to wait. So just personally, you rededicate yourself. That's what you do. You rededicate yourself. You endeavor to make up for the mistakes, to get in that film room. I'm going to work a little bit harder. I'm going to lift those weights a little bit longer. And that's what you have to do. And it's difficult. Now they've had to sit there for 2 weeks and think about the mistakes. And when they're little bitty mistakes that shouldn't occur, that's what eats at you. That's one thing if the team is that much better than you. But they're not. Oklahoma wasn't. And Colorado wasn't that much better than them. We just made the mistakes where they didn't. So you have to, one of my favorite quotes, Socrates, or Socrates, as we say in Texas, a life not self-examined is a life not worth living. Do that self-deliberation, man. You gotta sit there and reflect on your play and what type of player you want to be moving forward. And that was the fuel to and the catalyst to get us moving back in the right direction.
And you can check out those guys. They'll be here at noon on the channel, House Divided, with Jeff Ketchum and Chad Hastings. Probably more of a Longhorn house than it is really an A&M house when it's all said and done. But it's still a House Divided. Still get some good opposing views as relates to that. Yes, Money B, you are absolutely correct. Please hit that like button. Like it. Hit it. What's going on? Please hit it. Hit like and subscribe to the channel. I promise you the YouTube people won't necessarily take any of your information, but it'll help with all the algorithms and all the things that need to happen for this show to remain popular on this channel, which I definitely appreciate where we're at. All right, listen. It's about that time of the time of the day. I don't know what's going on. It's not like I did anything crazy last night. I literally just chilled and went to sleep. I mean, this is what happens. I did wake up, though, in the middle of the night, and I was up, man. I was up for like a few hours. So maybe that has something to do with it. Then I went back to bed at like 4:30 or 5. Then I was right back up at like 5:30, like 6. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the problem. But nonetheless, it's time for social media standouts. It is time for us to see what's going on in the world of social media. Some things are good. Some things are bad, but nonetheless, yes. And so, yes, we had Kevin Fielder on yesterday. And, you know, you guys in the chat, you guys in the chat are just you know what you do. You guys know what you do, and I can't. And so apparently, while on the show, somebody referred to him as Carl Weezer, and he got to the point where he had to find a way to hold it together because because you guys, and he was a really good guest. I really like Kev. He was a really good guest. Young guy. I mean, humbled. I enjoyed talking to him. And y'all called this man Carl Weezer. I mean, he was. And by the way, my that Prince outfit's going to be legendary. But yes, shout out to everybody. Who's the person that called him Carl Weezer? I love that. Nonetheless, I thought that one was funny. Let's do another social media standout as well. I don't know if you guys saw this. You haven't seen it. You have not seen this. Aaron had to watch the video in order to be able to do a screenshot of this. They actually have a bed making competition. Look at this. It was in China, right, Aaron? I'm pretty sure it was in China. They literally, you think there's a competition for everything? My ladies and gentlemen, here we go. They literally have a bed. Look at it. Look at this. There's people sitting. There's people who attended. There's people there who are judged. They have judges for these people who are making beds. Now, first and foremost, here's the question. First and foremost, the people who are bed makers, do they have groupies? That's what I want to know. Like, are these guys like, yo, you know what's up, lady? Do you get free tickets? Do you get free tickets to the event, to the groupies? Do they have women who are waiting backstage for them? You're like, oh man, you made that bed so good. I can't wait to get into bed with you. And then because they're such a good bed maker, can they travel and it not bother them? The hardest thing about when you travel in those beds, right, is the way they tuck it in on the ends. Man, it's hard to get that thing. It's hard to get the whole. You're like tucked in. But yes, they have a bed. Someone told me, a very wealthy person many years ago, good friend of mine, and didn't play football, by the way. And he told me, do what you love and the money will always follow. He told me this in my 20s. He said, do what you love. He goes, no matter what it is that you want to do in life, he goes, just do what you love and the money will always follow. And boy, oh boy, looky here. Somebody was like, I love to make a bed. And I think he's getting paid for it. It's going to be a competition. These like experts in everything. I would have, you talk about pressure in a relationship. Yeah, I just want to know what the groupies look like. I just want to know what that scene is like when, like, after the after party, the after show, they're like, oh my God, you made that bed so good. You did the Dutch knot on the end. Like, I don't even know. Anyway, let's do another one. Let's do a social media standout. Money B, I don't know what happy hour that you guys are referring to, but probably am not going to be there. I got plans on Friday, actually. I have to attend a birthday party on Friday night, so I won't be able to be there. But thank you for first of all, thanks for letting me know. Where's the party gonna be? Is it gonna be in Austin? Where's it gonna be? You gotta let me know. Oh, here we go. Well, here we go. The Longhorn fan welcome Orange Bloods meetup Friday, November the 3rd, 6 through 9. Well, was this on Slack, Aaron? Oh, that would be why. That's why I don't. Yeah, the Friday, November the 3rd, 6 to 9, 6:30. So there's a Q&A panel, 6:30 to 7:15 over at Pint House Brewing. So yes, there will be some people there. There'll be some people from Orange Bloods who will be there. I will not be in attendance, apparently. I did. When did they talk about this on our Slack channel, Aaron? Was this yesterday? When was it? A couple of days ago? Was it this morning? Well, I got everything So it's not like I've ignored it. I've been doing a show. Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay, that makes more sense now because I thought to myself, I'm like, when I must have just totally missed this and ignored it. But if everyone's been talking about it on our Slack channel this morning, then yeah, I have no clue about it because I've been doing a show and I've silenced all my messages about that. And so let me see. Yeah, okay. I'll look in here. Yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be there, but it looks like Jeff Ketchum will be there. I'm sure Chad Hastings will be there. I'm sure a lot of other people would be there. But yes, I've been doing my show since 8:00. I have not been looking on the company thing, so I'm kind of not privy to that. But yes, back to it. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you, man. Aaron's so damn good. Aaron's good. It's really good. College football fastest players of the week. Did you guys see this? Jaden Blue clocked at a 20.9 mile per hour. Now that's what fast looks like. It's not the quarterback. That's not Maalik. I bet you, Aaron, what do you think Maalik Murphy's is? You think he's at like 12, right? Maybe.
Don't ask the ESPN people. They put him at 24, 25. But yeah, he's just not that fast. People gotta accept reality.
Yeah. So apparently Jaden Blue clocked at a 20.9 miles an hour. What was it? Aaron, do you remember Xavier was clocked at earlier this year? And then I remember Jonathan Brooks. I remember Sark talking about Jonathan Brooks being clocked really fast. So let me see. Let me see if I put that in there real quick. Archer's 22. That's right. Archer's 22. Where do you go, Jonathan? Let's do Jonathan Brooks. Let's do Texas. Let's do GPS. I think. Let's see what he says. Let's see what pops up on that one. It would take too long. It'll take too long. It's like, and then by the time I figure it out, it'll be the moment would have passed. But I remember Jonathan Brooks being clocked at pretty fast. So anyway, that was kind of that's moving. Nonetheless, Jaden Blue at that 20.9 clip. Let's do. Thank you, Rodolfo. Exit 21. Okay, there you go. Oh man, did you see this? Dude got on there. The guy who was disrespectful to Dabo Swinney, wanted to know why he was getting paid as much money he was getting paid. Apparently, they tracked this dude down. Apparently, somebody tracked him down, and he said, if I had to do it all over again, I'd be way more respectful. And it's like, well, first of all, you can't do it all over again. You can call back next week, right? And you can apologize if you. No, here's the deal. First of all, this is why call-in shows are so dangerous, right? This is why the call-in shows get so dangerous and get so dicey at times over that. And then nonetheless, I felt dude's pain, but like anything, you know, as a person to ask questions for a living, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to ask questions. And he went about that in the absolute wrong way. And it ended up being a national story. Like that's the thing about nowadays, today's everything is that if you're not careful, you too can become a national story. And apparently that happened as well. Hold on one second. I'm going to send Ari a text message. Okay. All right, let's do a couple more of what we have, Aaron. Did you guys see this one? A Laker fan hit a half-court shot and won $100,000. And I mean, this stuff kind of stuff like they randomly select a guy, right? And this man literally, and first of all, I'm surprised it was that much money for what's kind of a makeable shot. And my man, if you go check out Crazy Clips Only, get on there if you're on Twitter, and you'll see that my man nailed it, dropped and will walk away with 100 G's. Now, of course, he's going to have some taxes to pay on that, but who the hell cares? Whatever his taxes bill looks like, If he's clearing, 85 of that or whatever, then so be it. Like you still walked away with 100. I've never been that fortunate, and I know I would probably miss it. But talk about once in a lifetime. Props to him. Let's do a couple more, Aaron. All right, bros. All right, for this is for all the bros out there, even the ladies out there, everybody out there. Okay. You guys know that Michael Jordan's son has been dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife for, I guess, the past couple of years, right? They get spotted out and people are always kind of has something to say with this. So Marcus Jordan has expressed a desire for his dad, Michael Jordan, to be the best man at his wedding when he ties the knot with Larsa Pippen. And now, how I explained it was that, like, dad has kind of been the best man in other people's weddings before. So this is like nothing new. It's kind of like a family tradition. And now he's asking her, he's like, yeah, I want my dad. Because the question was, hey, do you want your dad to give a toast? And he's like, well, actually, I would prefer it if he's the best man at the wedding. His son grew up watching his dad play with Scottie. And now son is dating Scottie's ex-wife. And now they're going to get married. Now, clearly they're grown. You find love however you get it. I'm not judging that. You find it, you get it how you fit in. But yeah, those wedding photos, he said they're going to try to do something private and then do something public. Those wedding photos are going to be spectacular when it's all said and done. All right. Let's go ahead and do this without further ado. Let's go into our Speakeasy Lounge. And it's bringing my main man, my ace, Ari Temkin. Ari, I got a smile on my face, and only you can do it, brother.
What's up?
How are you? It's been a few months since we've talked. But how are you? How are the kids? How's life treating you?
Good, man. Real good. Excited to go see my Bulls tonight against the Mavs. So yeah, had a good Halloween last night. Was Mario and Luigi with my wife, and my 8-year-old was little Mario before the mushroom, and my 5-year-old Aaron refused to be little Luigi before the mushroom, so he was Spider-Man. So he is Money Beast. Let's go Mavs. Go Bulls. Yeah, with the way Luke has been playing, the Bulls are kind of a grease fire. The Bulls and the Cowboys haven't won anything since the 90s. Bulls and Cowboys, two teams, have not won anything since the 90s. They dominated the 90s, haven't won anything since the 90s.
It's been a while. It's been a really long time. It will be a little bit longer for your Bulls, unfortunately. Hard to win in today's NBA if don't stack your teams with a bunch of all-stars, right? It's kind of you're always going to be on the outside looking in, right? And then there's the Cowboys. But hey, the Cowboys played well this past week, right? I mean, that was an offensive output that, right? I mean, that was a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, I did the Cowboys games for 5 years. I watched every game for the Cowboys for 10 years. I haven't really watched them much since I left that job last year. But I just don't know how good of a quarterback Dak Prescott is. He was. I mean, I remember in 2021, I felt like he was at that point playing at a top 5 level, and he suffered an injury, and then he came back in 2022, and I didn't think played well, and so I'm not really, I'm not even sure where he is right now. Again, I'm not, I hate to make these broad proclamations about the Cowboys because I just don't watch them anymore. I kind of gave them up cold turkey, which was a lot of fun, but at least from my vantage point, I think Dak was playing at a very high level, and then he hasn't been since pretty consistently.
So, Ari, speaking of quarterbacks, do you know how good of a quarterback Maalik Murphy is based off of what you saw last week. And I'm just kind of curious as your thoughts on Texas now with Maalik kind of under, I would say under center, back, not really under center. That's an old school term. Over for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we all expected to see kind of Maalik Murphy and Arch Manning last week, given the questions and the discourse surrounding the quarterback situation leading into the game. And, it just never needed to. The new teams in the Big 12 that have made the move from from the Group of Five to the Power Five have really struggled. And, I think it's happened for a bunch of reasons. But, yeah, I mean, I think this game on Saturday was another example of it. And I was in Austin for the last couple of meetings between Texas and BYU. And I think the only thing that could have really stopped Texas in that game was Taysom Hill. So the good news was that he wasn't going to show up. He had no eligibility left. Yeah. But I mean, I think that the Maalik Murphy factor comes into play in a much larger way this week. And I wonder the questions we had around Arch Manning maybe getting into the game last week, if we see him a little bit this week, because it's just going to be a much bigger struggle for Maalik this week.
Mm-hmm. Talk about, as relates to that. And by the way, someone did point something out in the chat. They are 100% Benji is correct. He said he wanted to clown you so bad, but your Okie State champ prediction.
How about that?
Alive. I mean, and you did get a lot of crap for that. You're starting to look little like a genius, Ari. Like, are you taking? You're not rounding first or second on your home run swing, or are you?
I mean, so it's funny because I totally jumped off with the South Alabama Iowa State. They lost to South Alabama and Iowa State, and I was like, well, they're clearly terrible. But I mean, look, I said this. I would have never predicted them to win the conference had I known they were going to be rotating 3 quarterbacks for the first 3 games of the season, and they finally settled. They made some moves here that had played into this. Their defense has played dramatically better. Ollie Gordon, I mean, he's become Barry Sanders. But let me just say, my top 5 in the Big 12 preseason media poll was Oklahoma State 1, Oklahoma 2, Kansas State 3, Texas 4, and Iowa State 5. Okay, a lot of football left, but all 5 of those teams I had in the top 5 are now 4-1, and those are your top 5 right now in the Big 12.
All right. I mean, right now, so far, you've nailed it. I mean, I gotta give you your props. I've got to get at least. And Benji remembered, and so I appreciate Benji.
I appreciate Benji too. Thank you, Benji,
for throwing that out. How good is Kansas State's defense? Ari, and what kind of challenges will that present for Maalik Murphy in his second start here?
Yeah, so early in this season, K-State lost Daniel Green, who's I can't remember if he's a 5th or a 6th year linebacker, was kind of the leader of their defense. And it was just a huge loss for them. And then you saw in the immediate aftermath of that game, like I think they played UCF, and even though they won, like UCF ran all over them. And you're like, okay, well, this is going to be a problem because without Daniel Green, they're going to struggle to stop the run. And they have really done a good job of correcting that. And they play really good complementary football, something we hear Sark talk about all the time. And by the way, I think the Texas Longhorns played great complementary football this past Saturday. But that's the name of the game for K-State is complementary football. Like they're really good on special teams and have been obviously since even before the Chris Kleiman era, but it's one of those things that's carried over. But yeah, defensively, even with the loss of Felix Anudike-Uzomah, they've just figured it out. And especially again, I think the loss of Daniel Green had the immediate, that immediate impact in terms of their rush defense, but they've figured things out and they've been really, really good. And part of it is because they can take more chances because of the confidence that they have in the back end of their defense. So they can become a little bit more aggressive with their defense based on the confidence that they have in the back end of their defense. But I think the strength, Anwar, of the K-State football team is in a similar dynamic, the strength of Kansas in terms of their offense, where like for Texas, it's pretty simple. Stop the run. Yeah. The problem is, how do you do that? Because you've got Will Howard, obviously he's more of a passing quarterback. Avery Johnson has shown an ability to step in and complement him in terms of being a another look or another guy to look at the quarterback position. And then they have DJ Giddens and Trayshawn Ward. So like they just have so many weapons here that it's hard to predict how to stop their run game because it's effective and they can change. And it's like last week, they didn't have much Avery Johnson. It didn't matter. They're running. DJ Giddens was so effective. The week before that, Trayshawn Ward, the week before that, Avery Johnson. So, I know you asked about defense, but for me, this game comes down to Texas's ability to stop K-State's running attack offense, which is not that which is very difficult to stop.
How physical are they up front on the offensive line? I've heard so much about them, in this week. How good are they up front?
Yeah, Cooper Beebe he's as good as it gets. He's arguably, I don't know how many first-team All-Americans the Big 12 is going to have, but Cooper Beebe, Ollie Gordon's one of them right now, and Cooper Beebe might be another one. And he kind of sets the tone. He is an experienced, interior offensive lineman that has been there and sets the tone for everything they do. They're very physical up front. It's sort of it's interesting because Kleiman is very similar to Bill Snyder in some ways, and he's very different from Bill Snyder in some ways. But like the meat and potatoes piece of that, like they're really good. Ben Sinnott is a guy that has emerged as a tight end, but he's a guy that can be really physical at the point of attack in terms of blocking tight end. So they're, they aren't much flash, Anwar. They just sort of do what they do. They can run the ball effectively. And you just look at this stretch of games where Will Howard had 5 interceptions. There was a 3-game stretch where Will Howard threw 5 picks. Against Oklahoma State, he had 3 picks. But in the 2 previous games, he had a pick in each of those games. Well, he hasn't thrown a pick since then. And then you look at the numbers, and it's like, what we saw last week, 15 of 17 for 174. So that's where, like, the more you force him to throw, the more they become one-dimensional, the more opportunities he has to throw the ball away, which we've seen this year. The more you allow them to run the ball, the less he has to throw the ball, the more effective they are. But yeah, they want to win. And again, that plays into Anwar, the difficulty of stopping their run game. It's really easy to be like, yeah, we need to stop the run game, but they're really good. Cooper Beebe is a dynamic offensive lineman that sets the tone in terms of their entire offensive line. They've got, really good tight ends that can block. And so it's like, yeah, it's easier said than done to stop their running attack. I do think Texas wins this game, but that's the part of this that is just so difficult is, can Texas force them to have to throw? I do think Texas's defense can do it, but it's just really hard to stop. It's like Kansas, like, it's coming. You just can't stop it. Now Texas did a much better, did a really good job in stopping it when they played Kansas. But in theory, Kansas offense is so good because it's so hard to stop because they beat you in so many ways with pre-snap motion, and K-State's just more physical.
What do you think about Texas, where they're at right now, Ari? Clearly they're obviously on outside looking in as relates to, the playoff conversation at this moment. Like you said, one of the teams that are tied, in the Big 12, where you see them at right now with 4 games left in the season. Give me your thoughts on not only where they're at now, but what you maybe expect to happen and unfold for them, obviously with K-State this week. Obviously, next week, it's going to be at TCU, at Iowa State, and then Texas Tech at home.
Anwar, you do a really good job reporting on this team. When's Quinn Ewers coming? I must call him Quinn Snyder. When's Quinn Ewers coming back?
It's a loaded question because the why it becomes a loaded question, Ari, is because if Texas continues to win, then it makes sense for Quinn to try to rush himself back. But if Texas drops one against Kansas State, and now we're talking about Texas playing for the Alamo Bowl, right? Then, like at that point, he's got to think about his NFL future. So that's why it's kind of it's an ideal scenario where you would hope to maybe have him back next week or the week after that. But the realistic scenario is it's his throwing shoulder. So there's probably a couple of more weeks that needs to occur. To me, if I was guessing, and I'm just guessing, Iowa State would be my guess, where it might be, your best case scenario of seeing him back. But if they drop a game or two, then all bets are off as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and okay, so the reason I asked you that is because it's just really hard for me to believe that Texas will be able to run the table with Maalik Murphy at quarterback. They could win a game, he could play well, but like to keep winning, it's so difficult. You're going to have ups and downs with an inexperienced quarterback. okay, so I think their schedule is a lot easier down the stretch here than maybe we thought before the season started. Texas Tech is bad, and they're on their third string quarterback, and he had 5 turnovers last time we saw Texas Tech play after their week off. TCU is a shell of itself from last year. But Iowa State, John Haycock, that is a bad recipe for a young quarterback. A really good defensive-minded defensive coordinator that has just flummoxed offenses in the Big 12 for years. So, I think these next 2 games, it's going to be really difficult for a young quarterback to be successful given, how good K-State's defense is and how good Iowa State's defense is and can be. And the coordinator plays a huge role in that. So, it's just hard for me to believe if Quinn Ewers is still healthy. This is a different, and I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't know, but it's just a different story here. I'd be way more confident in Texas getting the playoff. I think the whole Ewers injury threw off everything, not just from, the potential for this season to be a playoff season for Texas, but also the path of the quarterback situation with Texas. I think if you gave Sark, and I wonder your thoughts on this too, Anwar, if you hook Sark up and gave him some truth serum, he would probably tell you that he thought that Quinn Ewers would play well enough and go to the NFL after this year, which then kind of sets you on the path for Murphy and Arch to compete, maybe Murphy and, to start next year. And then Arch. So maybe Quinn still sniffs the NFL after this season. But I think the injury derailed that to a degree. And then of course the derailed, the optimism for this season, because again, Maalik Murphy's, I'm not trying to say he's not a good quarterback or he doesn't have all kinds of talent. We know the arm strength is there, the physicality, but young quarterbacks are going to struggle in real live action. The first time they're getting that real live action, it's going to happen. There's ups and downs. Even the best ones have those struggles. And especially given the way these next 2 weeks line up with K-State and Iowa State, that's the part for me that's tough to overlook.
Yes, it's K-State at TCU at Iowa State, and then Texas Tech is the next few games.
These next 2 are the ones that I think they're. TCU and Texas Tech those are wins. Those are wins.
Mm-hmm. It's basically K-State, and then jumping 2 weeks ahead to it'll be at Iowa State. And so
if they could win this game and then get Quinn Ewers back for Iowa State, they're in good shape to be a playoff team.
Okay. So that becomes mental note, everybody. Mental note. Let's get a good mental note. Ari, I'll let you.
Or Murphy can win 2 straight, and then all bets are off.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, what helped them last week, obviously, Ari, is that they played so well they didn't need him to win a game, but he did make the mistakes that you expect a young guy to throw. He does have the interception. He does have the fumble, right? So they didn't.
It wasn't like he played flawless, right.
Yes, but it just so happened that the defense played extremely well. Like BYU, Slovis is not good. And so it helped. At that point, that they would just be able to outman them and outmuscle them. But Texas, as you know, Ari, is when they faced a quarterback that not great, but has been good. It's been a struggle. It's been Dylan Gabriel, whether it's been the Houston quarterback. It's not great, just good.
Right.
It's been a little bit of here and there. They played and Jalen Monroe, they were able to get him early.
And again, that's what makes. Sorry to jump in, but that's what makes K-State so difficult to prepare for, because historically we've talked a lot about Texas having a struggle against the dual threat type quarterbacks. So then does Chris Kleiman look like he's game planning every week? Last week it was, okay, Will Howard is our guy this week. We want to pass. This week it might be, well, we've seen some things on film that we like Avery Johnson more. They're just so versatile. There's so many ways that they can beat you through the run game. I think that's the struggle here. And especially given Avery Johnson had 5 rushing touchdowns in the first time we really saw him this year, and should have had a 6th, but he fell down because the game was over.
Yes. No, you're 100% right. Okay. All right. This is one of my favorite questions I'd like to ask people. And I'm going to give you kind of 2 of them. If complete this thought for me, if K-State is to win on Saturday, or what will win on Saturday, what would have happened? And if Texas wins on Saturday, what would have happened?
I'm going to make it really simple. Okay. Based on what we've seen of late, for both things to happen, Will Howard, for Kansas State to win, Will Howard has to have less than 20 passing attempts. For Texas to win, Will Howard has to have more than 20 passing attempts. Because it is all about their ability to run the football. Look at the last few weeks when he's avoided the turnover issues, it's been 17, 18 passing attempts. So that number seems to be 20. And they're able to get away with it throwing that little in a football game in 2023 because they're effective. Their running game is so effective. So I think the magic number is 20. K-State will win if they can keep Will Howard under 20 throwing attempts. Texas will win if Will Howard is over 20 throwing attempps.
Ari, the man, the myth, the legend. Tell everybody, one, how to follow you on Twitter, and then two, I forgot to mention the show. Like I just talked to you like everyone knew you, and I'm sure everyone does. But tell everyone, of course, about this show on Big 12 Radio as well.
Appreciate you, brother, and I'm super excited about what you guys are doing. In fact, I see the Specs logo there, and do I get like some really good bourbon or something for coming on the show? Because I love Specs. I've always got some great bourbon.
I'm sure there could be an email that is sent to somebody.
Give me some allocated bourbon, Specs. Let's go. I'll pay. Just I want the allocated stuff. I want access to it. No, follow me on Twitter at Ari Sports. You can yell at me there. And then, Sirius XM Big 12 Radio. Just a few more games for Texas to be in Big 12 football. So come join us on channel 375 on Sirius XM.
What times?
7 to 10 a.m. 7 to 10 a.m. 8 to 11 Eastern, but we're all in the Central Time Zone, so
yeah. But on Sirius, you have to say Eastern though, right? Isn't that because Alex he does his show and he's like he complains that they tell him everything needs to be said on Eastern time.
Well, like I feel like it's Big 12 radio. There's only 3 teams in the Big 12 that are the Eastern Time Zone, so yeah,
true. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah, you make a lot of good sense. Ari Temkin, it was good to talk to you again, brother. Have a fantastic day. We'll catch up soon, all right?
You as well, brother. Take care. All right. Thanks for calling.
My man, Ari Temkin, I know his name. Ari was a huge part of this of the launch of this channel when we got it started a few years ago, and Ari's remains to be a good friend. He had to move on to bigger and better things, but he's a great guy, great interview. Hope you guys enjoy that. All right, let's do a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll put a ribbon and bow on everything this entire show. We'll tie up all our loose ends. We will be right back.
They want to make this game ugly. They want it to be slow. They want the clock to run. They want it to be a disjointed game. They don't want going back and forth. They don't want a basketball game. They need the Baltimore Ravens up this game a little bit. And that drive was kind of the opposite of that. They didn't, a little bit like Texas, right? They come out throwing the football, not really having a lot of success in this first drive. And here we are, 12:25 to go in the first quarter, and we're on our second punt of the game. Nice kick. Xavier Worthy takes the punt at the 25, and he's got a lane.
Nice return. Nice return. Worthy's gone. He's gone. It's over.
For all of you that have wanted Xavier Worthy off of punt returns, how do you like them apples?
Wow.
He's been close to that all season long. And that was a case of the BYU punter kicking the ball too far down the field.
That was that 75? Did I see that yard marker right? Is that a 75-yard return?
Yeah, he caught it at about the 25. That's about right.
I'm telling you what, Catch, I don't think a dude in blue pants even touched him. It
was such a good punt.
Woo!
That it backed Worthy up, but it gave him a ton of space.
Yeah.
And so he avoids the first tackle attempt, and then he's just got acres of space to run through right down the middle. There wasn't a whole lot of fancy shake and bake on that. But
and that's extra dangerous too. If you can set it up to where that guy doesn't have to shake and bake and he can just go blinding speed, you're done. You talk about a dude that was done. That punter from BYU he won't hear it in film study, Catch, because they all know him. They know who he is.
He's like, none of them other dudes made tackles either.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back. All right, man. It's time to wrap up everything. I appreciate everyone checking out the show today. Thank you to my main man, Alex Dunlap. I'll be on his show today at 4 o'clock. So check me. You can check me back on this channel. It's a different. I have no clue what Alex is going to ask me, so that thing gets a little bit wild. But I'll have him on. I'll be on his show at 4 o'clock today. Obviously, clearly, you can check out House Divided with Jeff Ketchum and Chad Hastings. That thing will be going at noon today. Today is Wednesday, so that means we have OB Outsiders tonight, right, Aaron? OB Outsiders tonight at 9 o'clock. So you got an action-packed filled day. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate Aaron producing behind the scenes. I appreciate everyone in the super chat. I will get on. Remember, I will continue to grow. What I got all my information here for Movember. I will grow out a mustache for Men's Health Awareness Month. I need to get some people on the show. Men's Health Awareness Month, promoting physical and mental well-being among men, addressing the issues such as prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health challenges, and suicide prevention. So, it's to support Men's Health Awareness Month, I will be growing out a mustache. We'll see what it looks like. Probably not gonna look pretty, but we'll see what it looks like this month, nonetheless. And support. Like I said, I need to get some people on the channel to just talk about the various things that are out there. Thank you to everyone. You guys go enjoy your day. Hope it's November 1st. We're out here, we're living. You got Texas versus K-State this upcoming weekend. So go out, enjoy your day, go to Specs. What better way to enjoy your day than to head out to the Specs and have a fantastic one. So for my main man, Aaron, you guys enjoy yourself. Remember, I always say, live each day like it's your last, because one day it will be. I'll see you tomorrow.